And
Yay!
feels far earlier than it should because of the midweek game. We are back with another Survivors of Tarnstead. We're going to go through our usual manner of introductions. We have Blackheart as
Carrick Marsk,
Kronos as
Archie Thal,
Aden as
Tilda.
Marcus as
Corvus Adalas.
Sammy as
Gifton Brockran.
Bias as
Cassiopeia Steelshot.
you got me, Addy, as your friendly DM. Who would like to give the
Offline is
recap?
Raziel's conscience.
Yeah, offline doesn't count anymore. It's not online.
Oh, well, say it's not online, so he doesn't have one.
Mm-hmm. Who would like to recap?
I would like to recap if nobody else wants to do it. Because I don't have inspiration again. Because I use them like candy. Okay, so last week, we dealt with the fact that we went to go help the ambassadors, plural. We went to see the Noran ambassador. We didn't actually get to see him, but we got permission to hang out and disperse crowds and help out in that way. We did that for a while. Meanwhile, Carrick and Corvus went to the Hexenreich ambassador, spoke with her for a bit. They talked about the Eye of Morgani. She pressed a bit about saying she's leaving in a week and that the new guy is going to be a total asshole, but we don't know in which way he's going to be an asshole, but he's going to be an asshole supposedly, and we won't want to deal with him. And that she was really liking if we all come stay at her place because that'd be really cool. She would totally like pay for the way and the way back and all the stuff, and come hang out with me, come get in the van, it's full of candy. She seems like a nice lady. I think we should do it. So then meanwhile, during that, Telday went up to the castle, palace, whatever we call it here in Winden. He went to the palace. He inquired about his lost love, air quote maybe. He offered his services as a musician, a man of swordplay, and somebody who is adept with makeup to help out. They said whatever you can do to disperse crowds, and I like to think that they were hoping he was going to go do makeup. So he went off to go get his instruments to go help out. RG hung out in the Vardo area with Klopp, self-internalizing sad music because her best friend is an asshole, and occasionally sending messages out to Raziel of "Get your ass here! I need to talk to you" over and over again all day long. The party eventually all re-met back at the inn with a little side trip of sending Cassie to the library by herself with a message for Lord Grayson. Where Cassie found out that of the weeks we've been here, the library man has been a bad man and doesn't like adventurers, and he is very mean, and no one like him. And she had to deal with him trying to get a hold of Lord Grayson. She scared the crap out of Lord Grayson because he thought he was possibly going to get murdered, threatened, or killed by scary centaur lady who was very intent on making sure she was delivering the letter to the right person, because Gifton put a lot of strain on how important it was it didn't go to the wrong person. My bad. I'm sorry, Lord Grayson. So Cassie did that. We all got back to the inn. I took Telday upstairs. I told Telday the life story of basically us from Tarnstead onward, and let him come to his own decisions on things. Sadly for Gifton, he thinks that he said he thinks that Raziel is irredeemable and he is a bad man who should be punished. And Gifton feels, well, if Raziel is, me too. And she's starting her own hashtag. She then went off with Care to go retire for the night, planning on doing things the next morning. After Carrick had spent some time talking to his grandmother, he decided he needed a map of the southern regions near the border where Tarnstead is. There's like a mountain range. He needed a map of it. And we decided the best way to get that would be to just go to the effing library, because the library is the repository of all fucking knowledge in town. So I bullied him into, we're going. Cassie took off out the door to go get her sword as fast as she could in the morning because her sword was supposed to be ready a day early because the smith that was making it is hoping for a war so he can make mass sales on blades or weapons and stuff. So he's getting her blade done so he can move on with other orders. So she ran out to go do that. Me, Carrick, and Care went to the library to go get the thing. We ran into the gentle lady who very robustly affirmed that we are all guests and friends of the library under her patronage now, and took me to come see some cool books on fashion, and then took me and Care into the scary room, which was some sort of study room that had a lock on it, and I hope it's a study room. I don't know. And Carrick got to go run off to go get the map, but that was after Carrick found a book in his repository of books that his grandma had given him that has a cool like dragon scaling to it and a bunch of dragon fairy tales. And the aforementioned Lady Gentle was interested in Carrick's current form of reading. I don't remember what Corvus was off doing. I think he hadn't really said yet.
Correct.
I think Corvus and RG and Telde are still back at the tavern, and Cassiopeia took off for her sword. Those of us went to the library, and the tavern mistress is bawling her eyes out, and Yalgrim, her husband, was like, let her have her time to just cook like crazy. This is how she copes with grieving over the lost king. And I think that's everything. I might have missed something.
They totally helped her with her grieving process.
Telde did not help. Did I do okay?
You did okay. You can take your inspiration.
Okay.
Judging us.
I was getting worried. I was like, did I not say enough? Do I say more?
No, it's just the DM was muted. Yes, Telde tried to help very valiantly, but for some reason was stopped from explaining and clarifying the situation, which would have helped the lady immensely. Oddest thing. You tried though, Telde. You tried.
We did do a cool music festival.
You did do a cool music festival, which will totally become an event in the city from henceforth.
Yeah, whenever a king dies.
Yeah.
We made dirges last night.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At the tavern, Telde, Corvus, and RG, what do you all want to be doing with your time?
Well, RG, Tade, I don't know if any of you want to come along, but I was going to stop by the Elusive and speak with Captain Renson, I believe was his name.
Vincent Denoran, or Denor. Yeah, I think that's right. Was it Denoran was his last name, or
Denoran is his last name, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Rinson's his first name, though. I think you're right.
Oh,
There's a
yes,
strange
Captain
voice in
mentioned
my
this,
head.
Captain.
Yes, he has quite an array of magical goods. If you're interested in purchasing.
I was unaware that this captain was in the city.
From what Gipton said, he would be here for the rest of the week. He's trading, I guess, selling around. He was in Roadvale previously.
I would, but I've got other stuff I need to get done today. Sorry.
Fair enough. Just letting you all know, I suppose. Tade, offer stands.
I should be going to the palace.
Oh? Still checking in on your... what was her name?
Oh, yes, I should likely do that.
Oh, different plans. Well, whatever. I'll be off then. Contact me if you need anything.
Your testimony will be necessary later, but not at this time.
My what? Testimony?
Your testimony. It will likely be requested.
Tade, what testimony are you talking about?
Due to the assassination of the king.
We was there saving him, yes?
Yes.
At least his family, what remained.
Yes.
But are you aware of some sort of investigation that's going on with the Noranian mages? Then
I am unaware of any investigation involving Noranian mages.
then what is? Oh my god. Okay. What is this testimonies that I will be a part of? What reason would I be needed to testify on something?
Due to the general being behind the assassination.
Oh. Aji?
Don't look at me. I'm not the one who gave the idea.
Taude, well, I suppose my speechlessness means that I have nothing to say on this matter. Because it is...
Words are unnecessary. Justice is.
It's going to be hard to validate. You do understand. You just know what he is.
Affirmative. But
And
a
you don't-
murderer is a murderer, especially a regicide.
Yes, that is pointed.
And it may prevent war. Numerous unnecessary casualties.
Fair point.
You do
As
have
a doctor,
point
do you not believe that casualties should be avoided?
Casualties should be avoided at all costs unless it's something that is beyond your capabilities.
So if a war can be averted, it would in fact be the correct move.
It would be the correct move, but I don't think it necessarily a move that needs to be made at this moment in time.
It is unlikely that there will be much time before a war is declared.
Now, I think we don't know anything's been mentioned about a war. I don't believe, because that was with you, RG. Him and you were talking out back.
I told you guys, I laid out to you that I agreed to start the war. Yeah.
Yeah, but we
Yeah, we don't know it's been confirmed.
Raziel said he has been given power already. To RG.
Oh yeah, I guess that.
But
Yeah.
she hasn't mentioned that part.
No.
You haven't mentioned that.
But I can tell you fairly easily, there's a sentiment that was around very obviously.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That suggests that a foreign country is behind an assassination. And that was part of what we were trying to stave off last night. So,
Well, to be careful, do is that you are going to be barking up a very large tree. Figure of speech, sorry. It's going to be difficult to facilitate that, even if it is true, and the actions that he took have speculation. Of course, I do believe the captain of the palace had mentioned something that he did move very quickly.
he was informed of this, yes.
Yeah.
But there is further evidence at this point, and that should be provided. Especially if we are to go to war under the auspices of his own actions.
My only concern is that you try to ensure that what you are saying is false. He wanted this. He needs this. This is something that he just worked towards. He is not going to just roll over.
Rolling over is unnecessary. Being removed from power is.
He is not going to go down easy removing him from his power that he has. Are you sure you have what you need to even make that statement? Making that statement openly without anything to back it up is not going to get you anywhere, and it's going to put a mark on you.
Do you know of further evidence or anywhere where I may be able to acquire it?
I just have my assumptions and my own personal ideas. That does not count. So no, I do not.
If I knew of any information regarding where they received their equipment or how else he may have supported them. But otherwise, I must pass on whatever information I have.
Right. I'm not a one with keen knowledge on laws, so best of luck, I suppose, to you.
If I am decommissioned, it will be unfortunate.
Yeah, it would.
It has been a period of time dealing with all of you.
That certainly is.
That is a way of saying it. Yes. It's not
I had to take an inspiration.
the right.
I think I keep throwing these at you.
Yes,
Yes.
you do. Because he's played a robot and he's good at it. I really don't know what to say more on this matter. It seems I can't convince you of anything. I'll walk around in circles if I do.
Good luck in your endeavors, particularly yours. Nods to Archie. May your family not kill you.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Uh,
I hope they don't kill you, Tyler.
if they do stab you, let me know. Hopefully not to death. You seem to be quick on your feet. Well, Tade, I'll be wanting to see you again in this tavern. Don't get yourself decommissioned.
I will attempt to avoid such.
He will pat Tade on the shoulder as he leaves.
Tilde will bow slightly at them and then leave. Heading for the palace.
Archie, you are our only hope.
Okay, Telde departs.
Yep. She can't think of any way to stop him, so.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, she's not entirely sure she wants to, because.
It's the same with Corvus. It's like, yeah, I want that man taken down a couple notches, if not removed. Because he has his own ideas and theories of what he has done. And he does not like those theories. Even though they may not be true, he doesn't have any evidence, but it's his belief. Gifton, I guess it's up to you guys now.
No, you don't have the ability to anymore.
No, you're in the library. You do library shit now.
Okay.
This has come very somber all of a sudden.
Sergeant Corvus, you're now left in a room alone together.
Corvus already walked.
He patted
Telde and then left.
Yeah, Barty's just going to stand up, brush over legs a bit, and then go. Oh, I forget, man. She's just going to head out.
Okay. Right. Back to Cassie.
Yes.
You heading down to the smithy?
Yes.
Okay. Walking through the streets. It's quiet. There's clearly a somber mood in the air. As you actually walk through one of the central squares, you can actually see someone that's in not quite fancy outfit, but clearly of an official station, is at one of the sort of billboards they have in the town squares, and just seems to be nailing a note up on it before moving on, seeming to walk to another town square.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a very, very quiet morning.
Surreal.
Surreal, yes.
Well, as Cass is trotting towards the blacksmith, she is going to pull out her sending stone, but not activate it.
Mhm.
And she's going to start talking to herself. But she's going to make the sending stone look obvious enough so people don't question that she's not talking to anyone.
You're pretending to use a cell phone.
Pretty much.
Yes.
And she is going to be sending off a prayer at Raz.
What is the contents of your prayer, Cass?
Raziel, James, you had asked us, or you had asked about ways to stop what was going on, and unfortunately that has not happened. However, the situation is progressing and a lot of people are going to get hurt. But there might be a way now to kind of curtail that and still get what you and we need. What I'm going to suggest is going to sound weird, and it might be off the cuff, but it's me. So what I will suggest is going to Ambassador St. Pierre and asking him to investigate it with the Norani military police, and ask that the Barras military police assist, not lead, but assist in the investigation. Who you are, can employ leads and whatnot before them to get them to loop everything around and drag it out to point it at someone who you honestly know deserves to be removed, such as a angry noble who's constantly been trying to upset the status quo, or another noble who happens to be known to be a family from a family of traders, aka another Landor. Also, you could, during this entire time, as requesting a peace offering from Naran, ask them if they will allow Barrast adventurers into their territory. It might not work, but it's a way to avoid a lot of unnecessary bloodshed. But anyways, that's it for me. I have to pick something up. I hope you have a good day. And she's going to end it with that.
Okay. As per usual, there is no direct reply to the prayer, but you
Cass is
still
not
want hope
expecting one.
that it got through.
And then suddenly Rick Beale appears and screams.
Okay. You arrive at the smithy. No, he's not working outside or anything right now. But there it is. There's the building.
Cass is going to walk up to the front door and knock
Okay,
to see
after
if it's open or not.
it's not open, but as you sort of knock on it, after a few seconds, you hear footsteps coming along, and the door opens a crack, and you see a dwarven eye sort of peeking out up at you. Ah, you hear that? Okay. And the door opens up fully, and he sort of motions you into his shop.
Orf, I thought he was an orc.
Was he an orc? He was an orc. Yes.
He was an orc.
Okay, so the orc eye appears
Very
about
hollow eye,
a little, yeah, not up.
Cass is like, did you get smaller?
No, something has happened. All right, the orc opens up the shop door for you and motions you in.
Cass is going to trot in softly.
Right, we're all done here, and you want to see it? Of course you do.
Yes, please.
And he sort of moves over to his bench and just pulls a long wrapped object over and holds out the sort of wrapped cloth. Yeah.
Cass will take it.
Mhm.
Is it the sword? Would I be able to tell?
Weight feels similar. You can feel the sort of shape of a blade beneath it. It's not quite the same.
But is there like any energy transferring between the two, or is it just
Not through the
weight?
cloth right now.
Cass is going to unwrap it to take a look at it.
Okay, as you unwrap it, there is a gleaming, almost silverish blade under this. You recognise the hilt and such. It is definitely your blade, but no longer is it this jagged, marred thing. It is reforged. It looks actually like a legitimate sword now. Notably, there are no longer any markings along the blade surface. But as you place your hand on it, yeah, you feel that familiar connection with your blade, though empty of consciousness.
It's just a sword. It's just an empowered sword now.
That's what it feels like.
And Cass is going to go, "This is beautiful."
It was quite the piece of work. Even getting my forge as hot as possible, that blade did not want to shift.
Well, it went through a lot, so.
Yeah, and he actually opens up a drawer and pulls out what looks to be sort of nuggets of metal, just a small handful of them. This was left over. Figure you'd want them, or I could give you a price for them.
No, actually, I should take them as they are part of the sword. They may come in handy at some point.
Well, are you sure? I could offer quite the price.
No, I appreciate it, but like I said, if I find any others, I will let you know.
Right, yeah, I'll, and he actually just drops them into what looks like a little coin purse and holds it out to you.
Cass will take it. And how much do I owe you?
If you, did you agree on a price with him? Trying to recall.
We had agreed, but I can't remember because I had it written down because... Give me 1 second. That's what I was forgetting to do.
It's a bowl.
It's like 3,000 gold or something.
It was very expensive.
Yeah.
He looks at you briefly and goes, I tell you what, you give me first bid on anything further you find. We'll call it 2,000.
I will agree to that should I find another one.
Right, good. And he holds his hands out to you as if to shake on that deal.
Cass will shake on it.
Right, okay. A sound 2,000 gold then.
Cass will pull out 20 plat. Or no, 200 plat.
200 plat, yes. I was sitting there for a moment going, hang on a second.
Right.
And he looks over the platinum quickly as if just to check its legitimacy before nodding and just tucking it back into that same drawer. Right, I suppose there's anything else you need?
No, not at this time. Though I do thank you for this and for working on it as quickly as you did.
Well, it was an experience to work on, so can't say I didn't enjoy it. Even if it cost me a few hammers.
Well, if I find any really good smithing ones, I will send them back your way.
Thank you, Tess. You have a good day. I've got to
Thank you.
get back to it. And he just nods at you, sort of motions for you to leave.
And Cass is going to trot out.
Okay, you have your sword back.
Cass knows the place is downtrodden, but she's going to go roaming around.
Okay.
She's going to head back towards the main street.
Yeah, as you
dance.
as you roam around, it seems a lot of places aren't exactly open, although you do see the occasional shop being opened up if someone knocks on the door. There seems to be some more informal shopping for people that actually really need stuff. But yeah, a lot of the places shut up right now. You see people just gathered at sort of doorsteps talking to neighbours.
Cass is just going to quietly trot along.
Okay, any particular destination in mind?
Well, pretty much across town, and I was going back for the main road, probably in front of the palace, back towards the library and down that road.
Okay. Right, as you head past the palace, there's no longer a sort of near riotous crowd outside. There's definitely a gathering of people. You can see commoners sort of laying down flowers in front of the palace gates. A small line of guards standing there in a rather sort of respectful fashion. Doesn't seem to be having to deal with a horrid press anymore. But clearly keeping a presence just in case.
And Cass isn't going to interfere. She's just going to quietly move off.
Okay. All right. Carrick,
Yes.
you've got maps.
Okay.
Yep, you are easily able to get your hands on the maps in here. You've been told that you are free to take them out as long as you bring them back.
I am still going to, at some point, possibly not now, possibly not. I'm having to have to look what other sections around. I'm going to make a copy so that I'll be able to take it with us later.
Okay.
But since I can take it out, I could probably do that this evening.
Yeah, you're in no rush to do it.
Do they have staff on like all over the place, or does it seem to just be the scribe?
There tends to be at least one or two people per level. Some are just reshelving books. Others seem to be going over the little note card system that lets you find stuff. The indexing. There are staff.
They do have an actual indexing.
They do have an index. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the indexing.
Okay. You go on over to the index.
I got the maps. I'm gonna try the hexadecimal.
I like it.
Bad, Archie. Bad. No cookie. I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm going to go try to find history of Brass. I'm gonna try to find the what caused the Dragon Wars.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right, you head on over. Give me a investigation roll with advantage. If you are leveraging their marvelous indexing system.
Yes.
Okay, yes, you get advantage. Okay, very nice. Yeah, you are able to find the location of a book that you think will be particularly relevant. It's semi-modern history, as in within the last few hundred years. And yeah, you go and find this book and you start thumbing through. And soon enough, you do come onto the Dragon Wars. Now, let's see. Are you going to get a faithful account or not? I need to roll, see who wrote this.
Written by person nobody was a dragon, but actually was a dragon.
Do you want high or low for your chances of faithful or not?
High for faithful.
Okay, I'm giving you a very good percentile because you got a good roll. Yeah, okay, it's going to be faithful. Okay, you find a book written by one Maldemoro.
If you can spell that at some point.
Yeah, well, take this. simply because I'm making it up on the spot. So there you go.
That's fine. That is fine.
Which give me a history check on that as well, please.
Regular.
Yep, just a regular one. Who you know is actually not a native to Barast, and this book is not particularly popular in Barast, as it tends to take a rather negative light on a lot of events.
Okay.
But thumbing through, you do find the passage on the Dragon Wars. And you're specifically looking for what caused it?
Yes.
What caused it was the Mad King, as they called him, seemed to get it into his mind that the dragons were a grave threat, despite there being quite the period of peace between dragonkind and the other races for a long period before. It's right that he started to just launch hunting parties out for them, started to hire adventuring parties to go after them, later leveraged the military to launch a full-out assault on any draconic stronghold he knew. Is definitely Barast does seem to be the aggressor in this case.
How long ago? Since I'm guessing in all this, I'd be able to.
This is roughly 200 odd years, I believe.
Okay.
I'll have to check my timeline later and I'll correct it if so, but yeah.
That's fine. Okay. Gonna put that one down because I'm pretty sure the other one's gonna say something else. I'm gonna try find a book about the religions of Brest that is older actually, and see if this might even be before that. Trying to find stuff about the Morgani religion.
Okay.
And see if it had a higher place before this or something like that.
Go ahead, give me another investigation check.
Regular.
Advantage again if you're using the index. Okay. Yep, you're able to find a old book on the religion. It looks like it's a reprint, but it is old information. You think someone may have transcribed this at some point from an older text. And you start going through, and yes, Morgani was more prominent before this time. Still wasn't the most widespread of religions, but they weren't relegated to tiny amount of followers or such. It wasn't even that uncommon for actual dragons to essentially hold their own congregations or from local villagers or so on. It was still one of the smaller religions of Barast, but it was a lot more prevalent than it is now.
Sorry, touch slowed, right?
That's okay.
Okay. Actually, for right now, unless you have something specific for me, jump to someone else. I think of
Okie dokie.
Search for.
Right, Gifton.
No.
Yes, the Lady Gentle has led you and Care into a private room with many locks on. No, there's not actually that many locks on the door. There's one lock.
I should say only
which is opened up from the outside and then not relocked behind her. She leads you in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this does seem to be her own study. It's actually rather normal in here. Just tidy shelves and simple desk.
Mm-hmm.
And she motions for
Totally
you and Care
not
to sit down.
suspicious, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sit down.
So, Miss Brotgren and Mr. Brotgren, I have a lot of questions, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. I don't want to push my luck here.
Ask what you want to ask. It's
Well,
I've got
first of all,
time for it.
we don't actually have all that information about brownies themselves. If you mind us starting there.
All right.
What are brownies in your own thought and words?
Brownies are it starts with a story. There was a great fae lady, Titania, who was greatly in love with one of the Fey Lords, and she had a weakness for the mortal races. Not the weakness that you're probably thinking of. She liked to take care of them and see them safely away from the Fae. She liked them as equals, and that was very unpopular. And it upset her husband, I guess is the best way to explain
Oberon,
him.
according to the stories, right?
Yes, Oberon. I think you might know this one.
The fable of Titania and Oberon themselves is prevalent, although not so much this part.
He became very jealous after she liberated some mortals, and he thought that she loved them more than she loved him. And her sprites that were with her at the time stood against Oberon and his forces. And when he killed her, he laid a curse upon all the sprites that helped. And I will motion for Care to let me show his back.
Care will sort of awkwardly turn and let you sort of slip his shoulders down.
I'll kind of show the mark and go, it's ripped the wings and severed the connection to the Fae.
So
the sprites were made mortal.
So you are a mortal race then?
Yes.
What's the lifespan of your race, if you don't mind me asking?
It's very hard to pin down, actually.
Yeah, it kind of varies with generations.
It's shorter the farther down you go.
So sort of loss of connection, the Fey blood, perhaps.
Yeah, I think there are some that are still alive from
the originals.
Back then. Yes.
Okay.
But,
do you know any yourself?
She shakes her head. And not that I know of.
Okay.
Afraid I only know 3 other living brownies at the moment.
I am sorry to hear that.
Oh, actually, there's a couple in here in Wyndon that run the shop. I don't know how old they are.
Yes, unfortunately, they do not seem to hold the same tales that you do. In fact, they do not seem to have much oral history. Were your people from where you come from particularly careful about keeping that?
Yes. Stories are very important.
Okay. No, best not. I was about to ask if you had any relatives I could talk to, but I think that would make you uncomfortable.
I do have some relatives, but I don't know if they'd be comfortable talking with you. I can always inquire.
I'd appreciate that.
But I know my grandmother was the strongest for telling the stories in my family, but most of my line was cut out very suddenly a long time ago.
Now, I can very clearly see, not just by your... And she sort of motions towards your wings, that you are not quite... Well, you're not exuding Fey energy. Do the rest of your kind have this Fey presence? I mean, Care's is not the strongest I've seen, but there's clearly some Fey blood there, although it is marred by celestial presence, which I can only guess where that comes from.
Most of us... do you have anything iron?
Yes, I think so. 1 second. And she actually stands up, and you see her going over to some shelves where there's just some sort of simple little statues, figurines, that sort of thing. She seems to have a little collection. And she picks one up in particular. It just seems to be a little rabbit. And she brings it back over. Yes, it's made out of iron. Does this hurt Faye? Well, most adventurers know.
I look over at Karen and go, I'm sorry, sweetie. Can you touch that?
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And he's going to reach out and very nervously just touches an ear tip and then sort of winces, pulls his finger back.
Yeah. And I will take his hand and show the blackened mark.
Ooh, that's unpleasant.
And then I will lay on hands him for a point to get that gone.
Thank you, dear.
And then I will grab the rabbit
And you see, it's a little odd with the glasses, but you can see one of her eyebrows sort of quirk up a bit. And
There's many times I've almost died to iron poisoning.
but not anymore.
No, iron doesn't bother me anymore.
Right, which, frankly, you seem rather angelic.
Such a sweet little cherub. What can I say?
Cherub.
Maybe.
Could you?
That's what this is about, right?
Oh, it's my major curiosity, I have to say. You would have been curious already. It's not often we get to talk to brownies that actually know things, but you are a difference within something I don't know much about already. So you are quite a curiosity.
I started seeing things back in Tarnstead. I think I tried to tell Corvus and them about it a bunch of times when I started seeing ghosts and energies and things like that. And I'm actually going to divine sense in this room because I'm going to look around.
Okay.
I'm curious as fuck now.
You define sense, and there is nothing.
Okay.
Beyond the usual you and care.
Yeah. I kind of just, I can see hidden creatures of various types and things like that if I really concentrate. And I was drawn to things. My dear Fey Lady appeared to me in Southwest time. Titania, her ghost.
Now, there is something I'm curious about. Perhaps you can clear it up for me. I have a book that shouldn't be in mortal hands. It's probably no surprise. Reading it has been arduous and painful.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And when she says that,
pain.
she actually sort of fiddles with her glasses a bit, and you can see a sort of furrow on her brow.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not recommend it to any of your fellows, but I think perhaps you might be able to. But that's for future. One of the things it mentions is a war in heaven. There's tales of, actually maybe you don't, I don't know how much you know about our race's stories, but there are mentions of minor rebellions and so on, angels that disobey and get cast out. But this talks about something far bigger in scale. And it mentions what happened to those that lost. How they fell to earth. And become one with nature.
Lullen.
Lullen, is that what they're called? The text I've been able to decipher does not mention a name.
That's a word I've heard.
Do you know if this is any relation? I mean, it's a very fake hint, and I wasn't entirely convinced of it until I saw you.
I can tell you that the unicorn that I met the last time I was in the Fae, when I brought this up, because I can tell you this is a very upsetting experience to go through as a Fae.
Oh, I apologize for bringing this up.
I am not what I thought I was, and that is very upsetting. But they said that I had healed myself, is what the unicorn had said. And I believe it is of that line, perhaps.
So there is some relation between these fallen angels and the Fae.
Perhaps, yeah. It would explain why we're such corrupt, terrible creatures, perhaps.
Oh, wouldn't be too hard on yourself. There's a lot of corruption within every race, and frankly, it's just a way of looking at yourself.
I suppose. Well, why does this interest you?
Everything interests me. I mean, have you never just been curious about something?
Yeah, I have. I just was wondering if there was more to it. I mean,
Well, my
That's-
organization has had some angelic dealings before, so they're always a curiosity.
Because I noticed you gave a very sudden stop when you saw the wings.
Yes, they are quite the sight, and while there are winged befeathered races, there's always something particularly beautiful about those that have the divine in them. They stand out.
I can tell you, though, that I have had myself magically checked and my aura changed over the last several months. Me and Carrick is magically gifted in a very strange way. Doesn't seem to show up for most people that he is, but he is.
Yes,
and,
I noticed that.
He's
that little whatever it is, it's hiding a bit more than just the magic. It's dampening his aura entirely. I mean, even most normal people give off a bit more glimmer than that.
I can tell you it is very upsetting when something is wrong with him because I cannot tell that he is under any magical effects.
Oh, I can imagine.
But he and I had been trying to help divine things a bit for the group. I thought, I will pull out my bow. What do you make of this?
May I?
Yep.
And she'll take it from you and start looking it over. And this is a strange mixing of energies. You can see arcane enchantment, but it's not arcane as we'd know it. It's clearly of divine origin, but there is also, I do think it's a word, I do not mean it to be insulting, but that Fey corruption, she sort of air quotes. I'd rather call it influence. It's particularly weak, though. Was this stronger before? Could you see the aura?
I'll give it a look. Do another divine sense.
You look it over, and yeah, it's definitely quite celestial in nature. And had you looked at it before with your divine sense?
Oh, I've looked at it lots of times with divine sense.
It's definitely a similar story as you. There's that sort of lead over from Fae, which was heavy before, to the more celestial leaning.
It was a lot more the other way as well. Like me and it are kind of on a wonderful journey, I guess. But and I'll hold it up. I'm not doing this as a threat. Sorry, but I will knock like I'm going to pull an arrow, and I will start reciting my oath. And I go, when I do this, words appear, and then I'll never cruel, never cowardly, that kind of shit.
And where is this all from?
It was what I was sworn to do by my lady.
The dead Fae, the one you've been seeing. Do you think this is a ghost? I did not believe Fae left ghosts.
Fae do not leave ghosts. When we die, our essence becomes a golden energy that dissipates back to the Fae. But she was appearing as a blue, almost there form for a while.
Have you ever heard of that energy coalescing or remaining somewhere?
She shakes her head. The younger Fae, the later generations, sometimes leave a body, and that's very upsetting in my people.
Yes, I can see the sort of philosophical implications of that from your perspective. Oh.
We are not taken by the gods.
Really? I suppose it makes sense if you recoalesce, but I'd heard that, well, it's rather common readings that Ilan has a fondness for your kind.
Yeah, our kind have a fondness for Ilan as well, but I spoke with a Amor angel not too long back, and she mentioned that none of mine had ever been taken by her.
An Amorian angel, is that where Care gets his tie? I can see he's clearly got something coming from somewhere. Although that seems to be severed, but it's not his own.
His is from another source, and I think that is a bit private.
Understandable. Okay.
And he is trying to undo any connection, as it were.
Well, you said it was private. I will not press.
But the Faye in question, the last time I saw her, Gifton kind of bites her lip. She's thinking of a lot of things that she can't talk about.
If it helps, nothing in this room will leave. If you'd rather things remain private, I will keep them in my private notes.
I saw her and she apologized for what she was doing to me. And asked me to watch after Telde and his people, our people. And then when she faded away, it went into me.
The automaton.
Yeah.
She asked you to watch over him and his people?
She nods.
Would you mind elaborating on that?
He is Fae.
He's Fae. Is Fae spirit bound to armor? What is it?
Yeah, that's the best way to explain it, yes. The science of this world is quite marvelous, and they found a shiny new magical toy to empower their machines with.
That's quite troublesome. I mean, there are many mages use Fae spirits to do work, and they have a habit of rebelling.
I don't like to be leashed.
No, who does?
Oh. But, yes, it's very unfortunate what happened. I mean, you'll find out soon enough. There's 7,000 of them.
7,000 of these. That is interesting. That is quite the force for the military.
Oh. Let's hope not.
Oh.
They, unfortunately, after having contact with me, remember.
Remember? What? They remember what?
Who they were. Some of them talk about being sailors.
Fae talk about
Things
being
like
sailors?
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're losing me a little here. You say they are Fae spirits bound to, well, armor, automatons. Surely, even if their memory was suppressed somehow, they would remember being Fae, yes? Is that
I
not...
give her a shrug and go, I don't get it.
Well, that's something for me to look into.
But I do know that the unicorn I spoke with when I was in the Fae last, when a lot of things went wrong, mentioned that Telde was missing pieces of himself, but he was healing. But he was one of the ones that they look after. So maybe it's one of Illin's. There's some of Illin's people? I'm not sure.
As in souls that reside in heaven.
Perhaps.
Like, well,
yes,
I have no judgment on where I would go, but if I were to go to heaven, like me.
But yes, I would say I have also been told that I have a soul, which is interesting, and I'm not sure how to feel about that one either.
I suppose that does bring up a new moral quandary for a race that previously didn't have that.
Yes, and is not accepted by the gods, so it's awkward.
Oh. I can imagine.
Yeah. So, well, what else can I offer you? Surely this is really not that interesting.
Oh, it's actually quite interesting to me. I tell you what. Would I be able to take some of your blood and your husband's?
I look over at Care. How do you feel about this?
He's giving you a very alarmed look. Why would you want our blood? Well, I'm just curious as to the properties it carries in comparison to the other races. No, I'm not a witch or anything. I'm not going to do anything with it. Care just looks at you.
Sure, do you want a feather?
Oh, if you don't mind.
Sure. Oh. Ow!
Oh, okay.
That hurt.
Right there
Okay.
and then. Okay.
Yep.
If you don't mind staying here for a moment, I'll go get something to actually take your blood.
Okay. Maybe want me to just cut my hand, do it like drops off the roof of a building.
What? No. Why would I have you cut your hand? That's especially when you have to wield a weapon. That's ridiculous. Right, you stay put. I'll be right back. And she gets up and she leaves the room. And she actually leaves the door ajar a bit.
I mean, you got your left hand because use your right hand for the sword and bow. But
Do make sure you get it right across the palm, you know.
Yeah, right across the palms. That way you can't possibly wield a shield. I'm gonna glance over at Kara and go, "You think I've said too much?"
I don't think so. I mean, this is a lot different than I thought it was going to be in general.
Yeah, it's actually not as scary than I thought. Oh, I wonder if the rings are gonna mess with the blood.
You think we should?
We should ask that. Oh, I don't know if I want to get a syringe stuck in me.
Oh God, no, not if we.
We're gonna have to have a talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just make sure that's gonna be okay, because I don't. Ooh.
And after about a minute, she comes back carrying this little sort of wooden box.
It's not gonna mess everything up if we're wearing our rings, is it? Because I don't really. I mean, that might be.
Ooh,
We don't have that much blood.
That is a good question. I tell you what, if you wouldn't mind giving me some of your blood in this form, and then maybe just a little needle prick.
All right.
Okay, marvelous. And
All right.
she pulls out what looks to be rather clean couple of syringes. Unfortunately, the great big old-fashioned ones.
Mm-hmm.
And right.
Also, you have a library on magic here, right?
Yes.
Is there any magic that's recorded where people do entirely by sound and song?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it does come. It's not by song, no. Lacking sound has happened. Some mages figure out how to cast without making sound, but just by singing, just vocally. I mean, there's a few spells that are vocal, but
I can cast the ones that Carrick needs to use his hands for without them.
Well, that's interesting.
I don't say the words anymore either. I just make music.
You no longer need to use somatic components part of it.
Yes, it's awkward. And I can also do something very strange. I'll give you a demonstration after if you want.
Please, that would be very nice. Have you had your blood drawn before? I mean,
No.
this way, not in combat or anything.
Oh, no. What
Okay.
is that?
Uh,
Oh, I've seen Corvus have one of those. Oh,
yes.
I saw him do things.
Now, if you just look up, we'll count to 3, and then I'll put it in and draw some. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. 1 stab.
Ow!
Okay, and drawing that out.
Mm,
Yeah, it doesn't feel particularly nice.
nope.
And she just takes that entire syringe and puts it back in the box.
Okay.
Okay.
Another lay on hands is gonna happen really quick.
And now for you. Wait, now I know you're going to do that counting thing. Oh, I'm afraid your why don't we say we will do it on free for you this time? All right. Okay, one
Hey, honey,
stab.
why don't you just... I am being endeared to this woman, and that's not okay.
And she
All
draws
right.
Care's blood and
And
puts
I
that
will
in.
heal him as well.
Okay, and that feather, thank you. She puts that in the box.
And
Right, now ring off if you wouldn't mind.
all right, ring off.
Does that interfere with your ability to fly, by any chance?
No, it doesn't seem to.
Interesting.
In fact, it's very upsetting that the wings stay on because I had this ring before.
And yes, I've seen this kind of ring that should disguise anything.
Yeah, it's supposed to hide everything, and I don't get any relief. from the wings.
And as far as I'm aware, most angels can hide those, so that's a peculiar quirk of you. Revel in your uniqueness, perhaps.
Oh, I really enjoy it.
Oh, you are very small.
What if we do the thing where we actually cut ourselves and we put it on? Do you have something you can collect it on?
Yes,
And we just-
here, and she actually she pulls out what looks to be a empty glass vial. Must be for another of these syringe things, and she just sort of holds it out to you. You can just try and
Okay,
get
and
some in there.
I'll cut my hand and
You do it across the palm. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next time, I recommend you do your forearm or something. Cut the back of it.
Oh, you mean like this? A little bit more. I'll heal myself up
Yeah.
after. Ow.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Frankly, I could bore you all day with questions. But if I could ask a couple of favors. If you'll be coming back to the city at some point, right? Unless you're planning to stay in here entirely, that would be quite convenient. Can I expect to see you back in Barast?
Barast.
Barast in Winden.
I can't guarantee I'll be anywhere after 2 days. I'm sorry.
That's unfortunate. I was going to ask for some, well, written versions of your oral stories. Still, you have given me quite a lot. If you do come back, I'd very much like to see you again.
Well, I would like to try to do that. Do you want to see the strange thing I can do?
Oh, please, yes.
All right, I will show this. Would it be better if I do it on care, or would you like to also be hit with it?
Just care for now, if you wouldn't mind.
All right, and I will pull out the heartstrings and do the big guiding song, and slap him with that so she can see it.
Okay, she seems to sort of fiddle with her glasses again and watching you do this. And, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There is not, even within defined circles, there is not much in the way of musical magic.
Yeah, it's. I figure somebody as studious as you would be interested in it.
Very interested.
And I'm.
Do the notes change anything about that?
It doesn't seem to matter what I'm singing. It matters how the feeling. It's
So
a
you'd
little
say
bit of
the
that.
intent drives it.
Yeah. It's. I also can do a. I call it my morning song. I sing in the morning about dawn, and it.
Morning.
It puts
okay.
No, not sadness, but the dawn kind of song, and it does a bit of a protective aura. It seems like around everyone, so they don't suffer from damage as easily. It's I forgot to do that this morning. Anyway, I don't know when I'm gonna start putting my ring back on, realizing it's still.
Yeah.
Like I don't know when I'll be back, but I have a favor to ask you.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Adderlass is a very smart idiot. And I
I-
care about him very dearly.
I know a few men like that.
And he is often ready to push a boat to water before he's found a paddle. And I'm very worried with the tools that he has gotten his little hands on as a result of interactions with your group. I would appreciate if you could give him any words of caution to
This
keep him from making
is-
any disastrous mistakes.
About the Azov eyes?
Yes, I'm assuming you've realized why he's asking about those.
Yes, it's quite apparent.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say after we... Well, to be fair, the fellow shot me 6 times.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not precious
yeah,
about what happens to our people. As for the Azov eyes and words of caution, unfortunately, I don't have much in the way of first-hand experiences. And she actually reaches up and she takes her glasses off. And what is beneath those glasses is, in fact, marred, scarred flesh over where her eyes would be. Looks like they were burned. Never had the surgery myself. It's only thanks to Lise, and she sort of waves the glasses a bit, that I can see it all.
I'm very sorry. But I meant more with the... You travel between places with your swords. It's... Last time I tried to look in when he did that, I felt sick and started to throw up very much. It was very upsetting for me as a feeling.
It is
what comes out of there.
It is a graveyard for your kind, and only natural.
And what was in there talked to Carrick.
That is a concern.
He understood it as he was following Corvus. They weren't intending to be in your library originally. I will admit they were expecting to break in. Yes. I don't know how he thought he was going to find something to randomly breaking in, but he was gonna do it, and we were casing it out. I'll be honest. But
I assumed as much, although I did think that was supposed to be a direct means. That was a mistake?
Yes, as far as I know, it was a mistake. I was supposed to be... They wanted to try... We were trying to, in our own way, we were trying to figure out what the portal was doing. So I was using my own senses to check it out, and we were trying to see if Corvus could take someone with him, and we tested with an animal, and it worked. And then we went to see if he could take Telde and Carrick, and apparently it went wrong in there, and he ended up over here.
The things in there, they should not be understandable to most people. But they are intelligent in a way. And they can mislead. They can change your path of travel if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm. As I said, I'm just concerned at the mess that can be made after I'm gone if he's not given proper caution.
In that case, perhaps I'll pay him a visit. Give him a few words of warning. And do you want to dissuade him from going through with the surgery? Or do you just want him to be prepared?
I don't think I could stop him. And I don't know if I have any right to stop him. He's convinced that he needs to be more. I keep telling him if I could, I'd go back. but such is the way of people, I guess, right?
There is a heavy price to be paid for doing what he thinks he should do. The loss of colour vision, it's insignificant in the long run. Some people miss it, but there's a reason we only do this with particularly steely-minded individuals. He will see things that others don't see, and he will have to accept that they are quite real, and there is nothing he can do to make them go away.
She nods.
The empty, as it's called.
Yeah, the empty.
It's not somewhere else. It is here. It is everywhere. You are, by travelling through it, you are just simply stepping between a very thin border.
You're opening the veil a little bit.
Yes. And those things, they can step out of that veil. They can't step fully over here, as much as they'd like to, but he might see them.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I have lost the right to make those decisions for him, I think, but I would appreciate any counsel you could give him. And if I do manage to get back to Wyndon, I would definitely come talk to you some more.
It's very much like that. As for my counsel, there is perhaps someone that I know I'm not the most trusted face among your group, and for good reason. I don't hold it against you. There is someone else in the city that could provide counsel, though. So it's not here long. A mild... Enemy is a strong word. A mild inconvenience to my organisation, just through who he's allied with. There's a captain down in the harbour.
Denoran.
Oh, Denoran, you know him?
Yeah, I know him. He's a good friend.
And
don't tell her that.
she turns her head towards Care. I think I know what your private
Yep.
connection is then.
Fuck you, Captain.
I mean, to be honest, they were spying on you when we went to the fucking church. They know we went and saw Raziel.
They already dead know.
Yeah, you're just unfortunately talking to one that's kept a little out of the boys' loop.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't tell you where we went, did they?
They didn't tell me much of anything, to be fair. I'm not one of the club.
I was treating her as a separate entity, not with the gentleman. I knew the gentleman knew, not her.
All right. Well...
Perhaps best not mentioning any names here right now.
No, I won't mention names, but who the dear captains worked with, all of us had dealings with, and it unfortunately has caused issue, and I believe that is possibly why dear Corvus was labeled traitor. He was, I believe he probably has told you, he was sent to kill his nephew, and someone in our group was sent to save the child from an unknown assassin.
I will
can
tell
imagine
you, this sounds like a familiar story. Every clash between my organization and his is a disastrous affair where it's really quite stupid. It's ridiculous.
It is, and I will admit I sought his help to save Corvus that night, and that is the only reason I think we're still alive.
Well,
and he has told me many things about myself as a result.
I would give you a word of caution against him, just as I would if you were to talk to any of my people.
Mm-hmm.
He's old beyond belief and has his own games at play.
I know.
Well, in that case, if you know Denoran, yes, he acquired one of our precious little eyes quite a while back, and I imagine he sees things and can perhaps.
Yes, he. I actually sent Corvus to go speak to him if I could get Corvus to go speak to him. Unfortunately, Corvus doesn't trust your organization, the other fellow, and anyone in between. He seems to be bent that anyone in any amount of power or influence is too dangerous, and he's a bit rabid that way.
I mean,
But
cautious. Caution on trusting people is always good, and you should always keep in mind, even friends can sometimes hide things, but frankly, everybody has to choose a side eventually. I mean, this is why I'm here.
If I can give you more information about the origins of Fae, I will give you all that I can. But I think, from what I know, you are already on the right path.
Oh, that's nice to hear. And please do try and come back. Not only would I like to hear more, I do have a book I would like you to try and read. Hopefully to less disastrous effects than me attempting to.
I can tell you I have stood next to an archangel outside of a vessel and not blown up. So
that gives me great hope then. Perhaps your eyes won't burn out.
I can also understand them when they're talking, kind of. As long as they're not talking that weird speech Carrot does. I can understand their voice, okay?
Oh, it does
I just
not
don't
hurt.
understand the words. No, it doesn't. That's how I got meddled into all this. I made friends with a cherub, but it was... Everyone hates that I made friends with a cherub.
Rick Beal?
I smile. Yeah, we talked for about a month.
Oh, that's one way to make friends, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just wanted to get rid of me.
They are a little more simple than their masters. But still.
Gifted looks for a brief moment a little.
No offense intended to you. You are quite more verbose than most cherubs I've had the pleasure of knowing about.
I'll consider you to say brownie. That'll be fine. All right. But good to meet you. I'm glad we can coexist. I would prefer we limit misunderstandings as much as possible, and possibly not as much between our two various factions, knowing that we're all hanging out.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. I will tell you, just in good faith, I am posted here to keep an eye on your angelic friend. I'm very aware of his position and presence. So
so you're aware of what he does.
Yes, I am aware of what he does. So with that in mind, I've just figured it was fair to warn you.
I really didn't know about yesterday. I'm sorry.
About yesterday?
She's telling her everything. Jeez.
Yeah.
You saying
we're at the party.
The king's death has something to do with him?
No, I'm just saying I really didn't know anything about that. Because I'm assuming you're expecting that you insinuated that I'm connected to somebody who was.
No, actually, I wasn't.
Oh.
So you said that.
Well, she said that last time. I thought that's what she meant.
Still, I won't press.
Yeah. All right. Well, it was interesting talking to you. Goodbye.
Have a lovely day. As much as you can. Somber day, I suppose. Have a somber day.
Have a somber day. Bye. I'm going to get out of there.
Let's you walk on out. Okay. RG.
Yo.
Where are you heading, yo?
I am headed to hopefully the Lear House.
Okay, you can find your way there, whether by asking directions or just wandering aimlessly. But it's not particularly hard to find. It is, in fact, one of the larger noble houses here. Over here.
We are on the world map currently.
Damn it, why are you on the world map? Let's bring you over here. This,
Whatever it looked like.
this right here.
Okay.
And yeah, you move over to there, asking for direction, get pointed very easily. And soon enough, you find yourself outside the gates. There is a large wall out front of it. The building does seem to be sequestered off from the rest of them. Rather very well maintained. There's some lovely sort of flowers along the gate walls. There's to be hanging baskets and some rather, for guards, they're rather lightly armed or armored. It looks like they are wearing mostly cloth and just have simple short swords at the sides. Just standing outside the gate.
RG will just friggin' walk up and just go, excuse me, I had a question.
Yes, miss.
Who would I talk to about getting an audience with the Illyras?
They look at each other and do you know any of our lords or ladies?
I don't, but I'm directly related to them by being their niece.
Your name, please?
My full name is RG Thal, and I am the daughter of Ayla Illyra and Fenno Thal, who went missing 148.
There's a sort of momentary pause, as if it looks like they're not entirely sure how to respond to that. Before one of them just sort of nods his head and goes, "If you'd wait here a second, miss."
Can do.
And he sort of opens up a smaller portion of the gate, little sub door part, and heads on in. And the other guy just sort of remains standing, not at stiff attention, but clearly on duty. And after a few minutes, the gate opens up again, and out steps what looks to be it's clearly not one of the Illyras. It seems to be a human in servant's dress, high-end servant's dress, very well dressed. And he sort of looks at you and goes, Miss RG4, you said?
Yes.
You are claiming to be related.
I am the daughter of Ayla Illyra. I have her and Fenno's brooches from when they ran away, if that's any kind of proof, but I kind of figured most people would say that anyone could pick those off a corpse.
Yeah, if you would not mind presenting said brooches, nonetheless.
She will pull them out of her pocket, pull both out.
And he takes them from you and seems to inspect them over carefully.
She'll also let them go. I'm also willing to, any kind of test you want to do to verify my claim, I'm willing to consent. I'm not here looking for money. I'm not here looking for anything like that. I just want a family. I spent 148 years not knowing anything about my family, and finding out all of a sudden, 70 years after my parents have died is kind of a thing.
If you'd come with me, please. And he actually opens up the door and very politely sort of, does the arm gesture.
Arch will go in.
And he comes in after you, and he starts to lead you through the grounds, and it is a very, very flowery estate. There's even a sort of small tree in the courtyard here that seems to be sporting some very unripened apples right now. But he leads you into the estate itself, and leads you into what looks to be just a general little meeting room, and motions for you to take a seat.
She'll calmly sit down and wait.
Can I get you any refreshments, miss?
If you have tea, that'd be nice.
And certainly, I will send someone in with tea.
Thank you.
And you are left alone again. Looking around this room, a lot of the woodwork in here is very naturey in theme. It looks like they've tried to preserve natural shapes in carving. It's clearly not altogether like that. That's not as if they've carved out a tree and moved it here, but they've tried to give that intent. And as you look around, you can see a few small portraits in this room. not a main gallery, so they're not major, but there are faces that have familiar features, including, as your eyes sort of wander, one that you've not seen for a long, long time.
She's actually going to be up and looking at that one.
There is a portrait of your mother, looking quite young, quite beautiful, flowers in her hair. But it is her, no mistake.
She's just going to be up looking at it and then looking around at the other ones, just that idle curiosity.
As you're sort of looking, you are regarding a more elderly looking face. Still quite strikingly handsome, and looks like it is a more recent portrait. But as you're looking at it, you hear footsteps coming up behind you. And just a very sort of polite,
So turn and go, sorry, just looking at the pictures.
no, it's fine. And you're looking at a wood elf who, in human terms, looks like he'd be in his 70s. And he's a rather impassive face, but there's something somewhat sorrowful about it. And he has long white hair that seems to be pulled back into a sort of ponytail, a rather smart one. But it's clearly white with age. And as he looks at you, you see his eyes flicker from you to the very same portrait of your mother that you were regarding before. And he actually seems somewhat taken aback. You claim to be R.G. Fall, yes?
Yes, I am the daughter of Ayla and Fenna when they ran away.
And you can see he is struggling, and his eyes do keep flipping back and forth. You're a daughter.
Yes. I mentioned to what I'm assuming is your servant that any tests you want to run, anything to verify my claims you think you do, I'm willing to consent to. And I'm not looking for money or a position like that. I just want to know family. I only knew mom and dad. They didn't tell me anything about where we're from, where they're from. That I think I wanted to just leave it behind. And when they died, I just kind of lost for a long time.
If you would submit to a simple spell.
Absolutely.
And you see him sort of start to motion with his hands, mumbling a few words in the arcane draconic language. And then you feel a press that is actually a bit familiar to you, of a tree field. And do you submit to it?
I do.
And he feels that, and then he remains silent for a moment, as if a little worried about asking. But he takes a deep breath and goes, "Are you the daughter of Ayla? Are you my granddaughter?"
I am Ayla daughter. I am Ayla Illyra's daughter, and the daughter of Fenothal. I was born, I'm assuming, from what my parents told me, somewhere near Southwestheim, and then they ran away to Tarnstead and lived there for 78 years before, unfortunately, in a Goliath attack, both perished. And then 70 years later, the Goliath attacked the city again, burned it to the ground, and that started me on the adventure that had brought me. So yes, if you are her father, I am.
You feel the spell falter, as if he suddenly lets it go. And you see that impassive face suddenly crack and contort, tears rolling down his cheeks. And then he actually falls to his knees, clutching at his chest as he starts to sob openly.
Archie will actually, when he falls, will actually kind of rush over and kneel down. Are you okay?
I thought she was thought I'd. And he actually just grabs you and pulls you into a hug.
Archie just hugs him back.
She had a family.
Just me and Dad, but yeah.
You look so much like her.
Can tell. Gotta glance her head back at the painting.
Well, welcome, my granddaughter. You are very welcome here.
It's good to meet you, Grandpa.
And he smiles, and well, he clearly seems quite joyed to see you. There is still that sad tinge to it. I'm sorry, this is very unbecoming of me. And he sort of pushes himself up.
And she'll kind of help him up.
Please, you, how long ago did you say she passed?
She passed 70 years. 71. There was a Goliath attack on Tarnstead, and her and Dad, they hid me away and covered and told me keep quiet.
I'm very sorry, but she lived longer than I had thought. How did they tell you about us?
Mom mentioned occasionally that they had family elsewhere. They never got it. Never mentioned. I think they were afraid that they always had a bag prepared sitting underneath one of the tables in the kitchen that they always called the bug. I think it was that if something came after them, so we could run.
She always was a sensible girl. When your mother left here, she and I, we did not part on good terms. I was a fool back then. If I could change things, I would, but I was not a good man when she revealed who she was in love with. I'm afraid I am to blame for her leaving.
Yeah. From what little Mom and Dad talked for leaving, starting a new life, I don't think they could have been stopped.
No, she was very strong-willed. I just wish I had the mind to accept her and him.
Unfortunately,
how did you find out about us?
That's a story.
The brooches, you must have found them, yes?
Yeah. I asked the right people, and they told me who they belonged to. I started with my friends and that from Tarnstead, making the trip here.
There's a slight rattle of cutlery, and you see a maid sort of standing in the doorway with a sort of a platter, and he motions her to lay it on the table, and then sort of just gestures to a rather nice sort of sofa and goes, "Please, sit. I want to hear all about you."
Okay.
And do you have lodgings here? You would be more than welcome as a guest here.
I'm staying with my friends at the Hydra now.
Your friends,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear about them as well. I'd like to hear about your life.
Absolutely.
Right. And he will sit with you, and he will happily listen to you talk about yourself.
You will talk about everything. Probably leave out reference to Raziel directly and like the background shit of it, but just the broad strokes of everything they've done, saving people in Southwest Time, saving Dolvoid, part of Goldthwaite, saying they were able to stop the Mad Priest.
So you're this adventuring company that's being talked about.
Yeah.
you're making quite some waves, so I'll tell you that. This is quite a noble party that does not involve some conversation about you a lot. I wish you'd come sooner. You would have been welcome.
I only knew before, and I only knew when we first got into town, and then I'll be honest, I had the thought that most Noahs is probably if someone walks up to their door going, "Hey, I belong to this family," would just laugh and turn you away.
Yes, it's a reasonable concern. I have just spent so long missing her and wondering what her life would have been like, and now to hear she had one and had a daughter. It is a blessing.
I'm glad to meet you.
It's wonderful to meet you as well. I'm sorry, I'm Bellinor. I imagine you probably haven't heard the name.
I haven't, no.
I am Bellinor, but please call me grandfather if you wish. You are family.
I like that a lot.
You have an aunt and an uncle. I'm
Like to
afraid.
meet them.
I'm afraid that we'll have to wait a bit. They are off handling matters at other estates.
That's fair.
But meet them. You will. We will make sure of that.
Mm-hmm. We're leaving. We're also leaving town in a couple days to deal with. We're going to be trying to stop some of the attacks that have been happening down by the border, but we are going to be coming back.
Must you leave?
It's what we do.
Cruel Archie.
I
I
understand.
promise we will come back.
When you come back, you and your friends will be welcome here.
I think they'd like that too.
Good. And hopefully by that time, you will be able to meet the rest of your family.
Fair warning, they are a sight.
A sight is a enjoyable thing sometimes, so I will look forward to it. I believe you wholeheartedly. I barely even needed that spell to tell, just looking at you. I can tell, but there will need to be a more stringent test just to confirm for any that would doubt. Would you be okay with that when you return?
Like I said, I'm willing to submit to any tests that you need to do.
I hope you don't think this means I doubt you. I do not. My girl, please.
I don't believe you doubt me at it, and like I said, I expected to do it. I looked into what the testing methods were before I even contacted you or the Thalls.
The smart girl. You contacted the Falls?
I forcibly walked up to one on a party at the King's Place yesterday.
Oh, who?
I believe it was Ilwyn?
I bet that went well.
I stood my ground.
Good.
And then I also met Rosani.
Rosani,
She seems nice.
she's a good girl. Our families are not on good terms, but I cannot slight that one.
Can't say I'm surprised they're not on good terms.
It's a sordid history,
things
I'm
considered.
afraid. Still,
Yeah.
no reason to bring negative light to this. Are you busy for the rest of the day?
No.
And if you could spare me an hour or two, I'd love to show you the estates and tell you about your family.
I'll stay as long as I can.
And he smiles and sort of reaches out and pats your hand. And that is how you can spend another couple of hours, RG. He will actually take you around the estates. He will show you portraits of family members, both current and long gone. You actually see your mother's room, which seems to be preserved to this very day. And he will actually leave you alone there for a moment if you want.
She'll actually take it and look around.
Yeah, it looks like she...
Not like rifle through things or anything, but just kind of run her hand over the dresser, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you take a look around, and you can see books that seem to have been left in place since they were there. Seems she had a bit of a thing for botany, and it seemed to like nature and such in general, which is unsurprising for the race, but particularly passionate about it, judging just by the works that are around, as well as the very flowery portraits that are in her room. Yes, that is how you will be able to spend your time. Is there anything in particular you want to be asking him while you're going around with him?
Just in general, what the rest of the family's like, that sort of thing. Just what life is like, because it's a world she didn't know, and what mom was like back then, that sort of thing. Because she's kind of getting this guess that the mom she knew might have been a very different person by that point.
Yeah, and he'll tell you. Apparently, your mother was free-spirited to the point of being bull-headed, and you remember her being a bit more of a sort of gentle person. You think maybe age or just being in a relationship might have tempered her a little bit, but you hear about a daughter that he doesn't outright say it, but must have caused trouble. Not of a particularly terrible kind, but clearly an exacerbating child. And you hear about your aunts, which apparently one is quite like you. She can be a bit of a mouthful. Once she gets started on something, she will not stop. Loves to share, but she's good. He tells you that your other aunt, Rania, might take some convincing, and you suspect that she might be one of the ones where this proof is going to be necessary. And he says his youngest, Derlin, is a good boy, just remarkably closed off and shy. Very studious. Unfortunately, your grandmother passed some time ago. Perhaps about 10 years ago. And he has been essentially alone ever since, as his other children have been off handling other small estates or visiting other nobility to try and make ties, and you get the impression that that is necessary because the family is struggling a little bit. They have a large estate here, but it seems that was from when they were important, not so much that they are now. Right. Okay. We are going to go over to Telday.
Hooray.
Telday, you're marching on the palace gates?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, as you head towards the palace gates, yep, you do see mourners laying out flowers. You do see that sort of sensible line of guards just standing there. In fact, you will know the stance. In fact, they have the way they have their weapons held is a mourning sort of guard stance. You know, what they take up when there is supposed to be a presence, and yet it is a somber time of passing. Shields covering blades just point at the ground. And as you sort of head towards them, you see them start to regard you, but not moving from their position.
I will approach in as non-threatening a manner as one does by walking up to people.
Yeah.
Without holding weapons in your hands.
Thankfully, you see a look of mild recognition from a couple of them, and as you sort of come on up, one of them does not shift his stance, but goes, "Sir?"
I need to speak with... There was an officer here last night. I do not know his name.
Palace or military, sir?
Palace, I believe.
Is it urgent? The palace is in mourning right now.
It is. I could also speak with High General Stenhouse, but I believe I would have to go elsewhere for that.
I believe the High General is currently at the Citadel being treated. You may wish to inquire.
At the Citadel, indeed.
I believe you have right to be there, sir. Yes.
Affirmative, but
It,
yes.
it would be the preferred course, sir, on this day.
Is it possible to speak with the officer?
It can be arranged, sir, but it is not done on this day.
If you would inform him that time is of the essence.
This is an urgent matter, sir.
Indeed.
I will inform him of your presence.
Thank you.
And he nods to you, and then there seems to be a whole ceremony to this. Someone actually leaving this line. He turns to the guard on his right, and there is a sort of nod between them. He turns to the guard on his left. There is a nod between them, and then he very slowly turns around and starts a very slow walk back towards the palace. And it's, considering the pressing matter of this in your mind, it's a little agonizing watching him go. As it is so step, step, step. But eventually, he disappears into the doors.
And it's not.
And
They probably don't allow running on a morning day.
and eventually, you see the palace doors reopen, and the same guard starts to re-emerge and walks very, very slowly back to the line, but does not take his place back into it yet. And he sort of stands behind his fellows in a very, very, makes him look like a nail block, essentially. And doesn't even face you and goes, "You are granted passage in, sir. If you would please show respect."
Of course.
And he lets you on by.
We'll attempt to walk at a slightly faster than
You're not doing the crawl.
slow pace, but I'm going to walk faster than the other guy.
And
Keeping it respectful.
he takes his place back in the line as you head into the palace at a respectful stance. It does not seem they expected you to move as slowly as there.
Yep.
Right, when you actually get to the palace door, it actually opens up for you, and you see the same, fancy plumed, helmeted guard there, who nods at you and beckons you in. I hear you have urgent business, Elday.
That is affirmative. I need to speak to whomever is investigating the assassination of the king.
Investigating. The military are handling the aggression.
That is quite unfortunate,
Why do you say this?
because a general is behind the assassination.
He pauses, and while he says this, you can hear his tone saying he's clearly saying something just to clarify, but he does not believe it himself. Is you a Noran general? Yes.
No.
Please come with me, and he sort of motions you to follow him, just apparently to get you out of the open.
Affirmative.
And he leads you into what you assume are his own quarters, essentially. And he closes the door behind you, and he doesn't bother sitting down. He just takes his helmet off and goes, "I'd like you to elaborate."
I do believe that the General James Rizal is quite definitely a supplier and backer of the assassins. He intends to use this in order to gain control over mercenary groups or adventurers for his own uses.
The same general that saved the young prince and princess?
That would be quite helpful for his position.
Do you have
The
any proof of this?
assassination of the... I have been informed by reliable sources of this information.
May I ask what those sources are?
I cannot say all of the details, but I can tell you that members of my group do have information. Sadly, I have no physical proof. I do believe that the High General is not involved in this.
I can't imagine
He may
Stenhouse
have
doing
been
such a
a
thing.
target.
And James, what is he working for Naran, or? It would explain how they got the forces past our defenses.
It is a false flag.
False flag entirely. He's not doing this on behalf of
Yes.
Naran.
They were likely minor rebels who were enticed, used entirely for his own purposes.
You realize
The war is his intention.
Do you know why? I mean, a grasp for power, he would have...
To gain control of adventurers.
If he waited a scant 5 more years for Stenhouse's retirement, he was considered to be the next in line. He would have had power eventually anyway.
Time is evidently of the essence.
For what reason?
In his mind, the fate of everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Our entire nation?
Far more.
You understand how this sounds, right?
Very much so. It sounds much worse with further details.
You understand that I must insist on details and how you know of this.
The man who calls himself James Rizal also says he is an angel named Raziel.
Raziel is an angel called Raziel.
Yes.
That's absurd.
This is the claim that he has made.
And who has he made this claim to?
Multiple. There are certain group known as gentlemen. I am unclear of their exact status or purpose, but he appears to have been involved with them at some point. Also, he has made multiple dealings with the Tarnstead Trading Company.
Your group.
That is how I was assigned to them.
Have you seen any evidence that he is what he claims?
Apologies for a second. I'm out of character, actually, thinking just to make sure.
I mean, he openly talked to you several
He
times.
has
You've
spoken of
seen-
it multiple times.
And you've seen him appear out of nowhere and stab another angel.
I have seen him attack what appeared to be an angel in Roadvale. No, Colthwaite.
You saw him attack an angel.
He did not see him attack an angel. We
Did he
didn't
not?
get. We did not get Telday until later.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
There was
scratch
after
that
all.
part
Yeah,
then.
that was after that. Yeah,
Yeah.
scratch that. In that case, I have heard him speak of it multiple times.
So you are
It may be a delusion.
a delusion. So you are suggesting that one of our highest generals in his delusions has staged a attack on the royal family.
No, I am not suggesting that. I am saying that quite definitively.
You see him sort of run his hand through his hair, and he looks a little stressed. Have you told anyone else of this?
It has been discussed within my group. Others are not as certain that this is the correct method to resolve the situation.
They're not certain that this... Are you suggesting that some of your group are complicit in this?
I am suggesting that certain members of my group are unsure that this is the wise course of action.
He stares at you for a few moments and closes his eyes.
I fear there may be concerns that he is, in fact, as powerful as he claims, and that this may, in fact, lead to death.
So you're afraid of him?
I am not, no.
But you think some in your group are?
That is a possibility. Others may understand his reasonings.
You understand how more absurd this sounds than us being attacked by Noran, right?
Indeed, it is certainly an excellent plan.
I don't like the fact that I believe you. But I do need some form of proof if I'm to bring this to anybody. Frankly, I think I would, under other circumstances, laugh this off as, well... He looks you up and down. The delusions of a machine, and I do not mean any slight by that, sir. We have been briefed on your kind and the state of most of their minds.
Is there a way to prevent him from assuming power at this point?
It's...
To delay that I may gather more evidence.
I'm afraid he's already being appointed that power. But if you were to find evidence, he can be stripped of it.
I shall have to do so then.
I would caution who you talk to about this as well.
Indeed.
I will also do what I can to look into this matter, but I cannot launch an open investigation. I hope you understand.
An unnecessary, ill-caused war must be prevented.
I agree. If our nation has been at peace for long enough, I would like that to continue. I'd not like to see the young king drawn into a war the moment he comes into rulership. I owe his father more than that.
I am sorry I was unable to save him.
That falls on me, I'm afraid, not you. So if what you say is true, I will have the traitor's head myself.
If the claims he has made are true, it may be quite difficult.
The claims he's made are true. I will leverage the entirety of the palace guard against him and take him down. Angel or not.
That could be quite bad for this country as well.
Nothing about this situation is good.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for bringing this to me, as unpleasant as it is to hear. I will make sure that if you return with further information, you are taken directly to me.
How should I ask for you?
Another sending stone.
If you ask to see the guard captain, they will take you in.
Affirmative.
Right. If there's anything else for you to add, now is the time.
I do believe that there is a plan to leave the city tomorrow. Perhaps a day after.
What, him?
As far as I know, yes.
Do you know why? How he's going to leave?
I do not know how, but I do believe that he plans to go back to Tarnstead. Or I am unclear on the exact details. There is something about going back to Tarnstead.
There's very little reason for him to be leaving right now, nor should he be with his new responsibilities. If we see him leaving or catch him travelling the roads, it would lend some legitimacy to your claim. I will have a few trusted men keep an eye out onto his comings and goings.
I have heard that he may hear if you speak his name in prayer.
Then we will avoid it. Do you know if this is his name as we know him, or that name you mentioned?
The latter, although it is possible that the other may do the same.
I'm certainly not going to be praying to the man, so we will caution using his name nonetheless. Right. I should get on this then. Can I see you out? It's probably best for appearances I do.
Agreed.
And he will stand up and just go over and open up his door and start walking out.
We'll head out.
And as he's walking along, you see him walking past other guards, palace servants and such, and he seems to make a noticeably, not shouting as such, but clearly trying to be heard. Thank you for your condolences, Telday, but there is very little for you to do here, as much as your services are appreciated.
Then I shall attempt to find other uses.
But I'm sure you can do a lot of good for this city. Do give my regards to your fellows.
Of course.
And he nods and opens up the main doors for you.
Main gate.
Main gate. And you can make your walk back across the courtyard.
Yep.
And as you approach...
It feels so slow.
It's so slow. It's so slow. And as you approach the line, there is that same very ceremonial movement to let you through.
Telday, realizing, slightly hangs his shoulders and head a bit as he walks through the line.
You're trying to look disappointed?
Trying to look sad.
I want a performance check from you.
Sad tell day.
Yeah, okay, you think you look sad. It might be stage sad, but you think you look sad.
Stage sad is exactly what's expected of me.
And the line reforms behind you. Where would you like to go from here?
I'm gonna go to the Citadel.
You're going to the Citadel? Okay. Right,
Yeah.
we're going to leave you for a moment. Corvus,
Corvus.
What are you doing, my man?
Making my way to the docks.
Oh, God.
Finding.
Way downtown.
Yeah, that's exactly what went into my head. God damn it, Corvus.
Yeah.
Right.
Finding the elusive.
Takes
Let's go.
everything you got.
Right, the elusive is very easy to spot, being the Grandor ship it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're able to make your way over to it. There's not a lot of activity on the ship right now. You can see a few crewmen just sort of standing at the rails, looking out over the docks. They do not seem to be shifting cargo or anything right now. In fact, it's a little unusual because normally ship crews are kept busy, even if it's not necessary.
As he approaches, he'll stop and look at it, raise his hand up, and shout out ahoy.
Ahoy! One of the sailors sort of nods down at you.
I was wanting to see if I have permission to come aboard to speak with Captain Rinson.
Yeah, you want to speak to the captain?
Yes, Corvus Adalas. I've met with him before.
All right, one moment. And he sort of saunters off across the deck. You assume going to the captain's quarters as such. And not long after, a familiar figure sort of reapproaches and leans over the rails, and there's that big toothy grin smiling down at you. Mr. Adalas.
Hello again.
Hello, what brings you to my ship?
I have some inquiries and maybe some business dealings if you are interested.
Oh, I'm always down for business. Get the gangplank down for Mr. Adalas. And you see a couple of sighing sailors moving over to do said order. And the captain just sort of waves at you as if to come on board as you see him vanish over the rails.
Mm-hmm. I'll proceed up.
And as you come on up, you actually see him, he's already making his way back to his own quarters. The captain's cabin.
Mm-hmm. A nod to the crew as he heads over.
And he sort of waits at the door for you briefly, making a sort of flourishing gesture for you to come inside. Mr. Adalas.
Thank you. Yes.
What business do you bring to me?
Well, I have maybe a few things that you may be interested. I'm not sure what exactly would strike your interest, but I also was curious if I could ask you some questions about yourself, if is that all right?
A personal inquiry. A friend of a friend is always welcome here, and I will answer what I can.
Thank you.
And he actually goes back behind his desk, takes a seat, and just puts his boots up on his desk. Sort of relaxing as he sort of motions for you to take a seat. Please.
Yeah. So I get the small things out of the way, I suppose. I've come across a few oddities. Of course, I've also made a few things. So I have met with an alchemist. He seems to pervade the hallucinogens quite adamantly. He pulls out the mystery vial. I do not recommend drinking from that, but maybe a fun party trick.
You're looking to sell this?
Just get rid of it, really.
So not a particularly pleasant concoction, then. Makes it harder to sell to people that like that kind of thing.
It's, I sampled a very small dosage. Basically I started seeing things and did not even recognize my own trends. So...
Do you think this would have been enjoyable if you had been aware of what it was going to do?
No, not really.
Unfortunate.
Couple vials of alchemist fire if you're interested.
It's not our kind of...
Yes.
And frankly, the people we bargain with less flashy things.
Oh, that takes that off the tables then as well.
If you have particularly good concoctions to give somebody a pleasant experience, I would be very interested in buying that. Or, well, you've had our dealings with poisons. The silent kind are good.
Yes. Unfortunately, my time has been spent voting all over the city, so I have not made a lot of concoctions of late. I need to set up my alchemical setup more. But I just thought to put stuff on the table for you if you want.
This concoction you have, the hallucinogen, you said someone here made it?
Yes.
You know how to make it yourself? Or would they be willing to produce more and bargain with us?
I'm not really sure. They kind of gave it to me as a gift. Talked about rejuvenation of myself. I spent many days reading, so I looked very ghastly and tired.
Beyond the hallucinations, no harmful effects?
Well, mind you, I took a very small dose, so I could not discern past that. And again, my time has been not well.
Then, if you would not mind leaving me some small amount, we can see if it is of interest.
He just pushes the vial. He just pushes the vial over.
If this is something that we can make use of, I will be more than willing to pay. And if you learn how to make it or can broker a deal, I would give you a cut.
I could go speak with the man again, now that I know more of his underhanded interests.
And he sort of, seems to be regarding this file, just holding it up to the light as he's talking. And what else?
Is he looking through his purple eye or his black?
He seems to be looking at both of them.
Okay. Another thing, he reaches in his pocket again. Not a lot of time with it, but we had an assassin get to us a couple days ago, I suppose. This is a sample of his blood. It is solid black. I need to look into it more, but maybe... Do you have any ideas? You seem to be versed with...
a gentleman assassin then, yes?
Yes, our mutual distaste.
Yes, they seem to pump this through their men. It makes them regenerate like you would not believe.
So it's regenerative.
Much like a troll or such, but a very efficient way of doing it. To replace the blood, it seems to affect the rest of the body.
I see. Well, I do have a lot of troll stuff as well. It probably grown as the size of a cube now, the size of my backpack. I also have a heart. I need to do something with that.
I hope you have a heart.
But
you fared well against this assassin?
We did. The group of us fell him. My friend Gifton, she had a little arrow that kind of put him in his place.
You see a ever so somewhat cruel smile curl his lips when you say that. I imagine my master gave that to you.
He most certainly did, yes. Kind of detonated.
I'm glad to hear it. Your relationship is going well, I take it.
It's going. I am cautious of all things.
Roll caution to the wind, my friend. You will soon see that His Majesty is beyond all others.
If he further proves himself, then yes, most definitely.
Oh, my friend, he must not prove himself to us. We must prove ourselves to him.
I see your points there. That is very pointed. And this brings to the more personal inquiry, I suppose.
Oh, do please. You wish to know about my mother and father, my three sisters, or perhaps where I spent my childhood?
No.
He says with a smile.
No. I can't help but notice that you do have a striking resemblance to our gentleman's tools. Your eye.
Ah, yes, I took it from one of their assassins, some 15 odd years ago now.
How is that going for you? I've heard some things about them.
Oh, it makes me very useful. It gives me many, many advantages that I would not give away. Not for anything.
I see. And is the scar across your face there, is that a result of it, or just
He took
a
my eye,
core?
I took his.
I see. An exchange. How did you do it?
Hmm.
Putting the eye in your own skull.
I took his eye. I did not take his life. I made sure he told me everything I needed to know.
Do you still know that?
Mm-hmm. Why do you ask?
I'm not that versed in deceptions, so easy read. We fell, the gentleman, and one of the things that was collected was both of his eyes.
You wish to use them?
I do.
No, they are very, very useful, my friend. But I must warn you, they will make the sleeping hours and the waking hours hard.
I hardly get much sleep, thinking about what things I have missed, what things that have gone over my head that I cannot, as I put it earlier, see. I am tired of not being able to perform better than what I've already done.
You wish to be of more use.
I do.
I can understand this very well. There is nothing I would not do to serve my lord. And I curse my inadequacies every day.
And for the rest of my party, I feel that I am the weight that is holding them down.
You seem very convinced of this course.
I am.
In that case, my friend, I will help guide you safely along it.
One of the things that I was told about these eyes is that it requires blood of a magician.
A mage, yes.
A mage, yes.
You need help acquiring one? This will cost a bit, but I can bring you one.
I was going to use my own party member, but he is very adamant about saying no about it. So if you have access, I am more than willing to facilitate the collection of that.
In the case, I will arrange such a thing. If you're willing to pay, how about we do a favor for a favor instead? I would not like to charge one of my compatriots.
What favor would that be?
I have no idea right now. That is what makes it valuable.
Oh, that's kind of favor.
Yes.
Bad.
I do a favor for you, you will do a favor for me.
Can I make one stipulation?
Oh, what is that?
No killing of
No killing of what?
children.
Children? No, I would not have you kill a child.
Then I am an open book.
Marvelous. Well, in that case, I shall do my best to find you a mage as quickly as possible. Are you particularly bothered about where they're from, or... I know some people can be a little funny about their country folk being on the line.
Mine country folk are foreign to me, so it is just
I had meant the dear people of Barast, of course. You are from here?
Apologies, I assumed you were talking about Hexenak.
I know that one's descending nation does not necessarily mean home.
Yes. the most people I've known is the people I've traveled with. So it does. They're not going to die, I say.
Hmm. Well, you can try not to kill them.
There's 3 pints of blood. That is a lot.
It's a lot to take at once, and it must be at once.
I see.
Still, we can do our best to keep them alive. We will have to make sure they are unaware of what is happening. So you'd rather they not be harmed permanently.
Permanent.
I
Yes.
can respect that. Makes it a little harder, though.
I may have something for that. He'll pull out a vial of sleep potion.
Don't worry, we have plenty of that. We will make the arrangements.
This is good to hear. It's something I'm meaning to do for quite some time. Time frame.
Time frame, it depends how subtle you want us to be. The longer the better. We can find someone, well, frankly, we could find someone willing given enough time. But if it's urgent, how urgent is it?
Before the end of tomorrow.
Then that will be a little trickier, but I can have it done if you wish.
I am doing this for the sake of everyone that I travel with, for everyone that I want to protect and help. So yes.
Of course, I understand the greater good very well.
Please, if it can be done for the end of tomorrow, then that is something that I will desperately inquire for you to perform.
Then you come back tomorrow, say afternoon, and I will make sure I have a maid for you.
I am truly thankful for this.
Is there anything else, my friend?
So not at the moment, because again, I do want to spend time fiddling with things that I haven't been able to fiddle with yet. So I will check on with that alchemist. I will...
Please do, and I will have Venor take some of this. He does enjoy a trip.
Just be careful. Small dosage.
But a drop.
Small dosage, yes. And I'll work on this black fluid. Hopefully, maybe make it less caustic to the body, maybe.
I'm afraid I have not much knowledge of the black fluid they call their blood, but the eyes I can help with. I wish you luck on that matter.
Good.
And do give my regards to Miss Brotgen and Mr. Brotgen and the rest of your fellows.
I feel indeed. I know she paid you a visit,
It
yesterday.
is always a delight to see her.
Well, if you want, barring other arrangements, I'm sure she'll welcome a visit from you at the Hound and Hydra.
I'm afraid I am not allowed to walk the city streets.
Oh.
Some small altercations with the authorities last time. I am restricted to the port. They let me in the port.
You still got that?
Yes, my trade with the noble families is a little too important. They can't really bar me.
One other note.
Yes.
There was an incident at Cuthwaite. Your contact may not be there anymore.
It's an unfortunate affair, that, but life happens.
Don't we have some of those beholders things?
Yes, you told me not to sell them. They're in the party loot.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to use them for artificing.
I do, yes.
But
But
they're
this
still
may
in
be
there.
Something. Yeah, let me look at that to see which ones we had. Is it in the party resources or loot? Loot. It would be in loot.
We sold all except for petrification and death. All the other ones are gone.
Okay.
Now tell
I'm
me.
going to
Mhm.
pull the petrification one out.
Oh, what is this?
That incident that I talked about. It seems like the individuals there were transporting a beholder.
Oh, don't tell me you wanted sides in you as well. It might be a bit beyond us.
No. Well, unfortunately, I harvested it, but I was not able to get the big one, central, which I think would have been really helpful in certain matters. But this one, I think this is one that petrifies, if this is of interest to you.
Well, you're looking to sell it?
Sell it in exchange with our agreement.
He seems to sort of regard it for a few moments, tapping his desk as he does. I could probably find a buyer for it. I tell you what, if I take it off your hands and fire it into buyer, how about we arrange a cut of the money?
Fair enough. We did the work. You find the buyer? Certainly.
I will take a 30% cut.
Seems reasonable.
In that case, I will take it off your hands, and I will promise you a great fortune from it.
I look forward to it.
And he sort of just motions for you to put it down on his desk.
He digs it out of his bag and lays it there.
I will have one of my surgeons prepped for tomorrow. We will have your mage. We will help you along. You are aware of the visions, yes?
Yes.
Good.
I've been told.
They take some getting used to.
There's been a lot of getting used to for me since my days as just a field medic in Tarnstead.
They must ask, are you looking to replace both eyes?
Yes.
Right. I suggest you go look at some wonderful paintings in a vivid sunset, because it is the last you will see of them in their true nature.
I'll take that into heart.
In fact, I can offer you something to help with that if you'd like. We do have some quite colourful concoctions that will have you seeing quite colourful things.
Colorful, one step at a time. I've already gone through hallucinations.
Very well.
Seeing color that is more than color is something that may be the next step in this endeavor. Not right now with everything else.
Well, if that is all, my friend, do you wish to stay for a drink? I'm afraid things are a little dull right now.
Yes, your crew seemed quite bored. Are they too even not allowed?
There's nothing restricting us, but I figure as I am on such shaky terms with the people here, perhaps showing a little respect and having them quiet.
Well,
But
sure.
We're in here, so no sense for quiet here.
I will humor you with a drink and maybe some games, if
Marvelous. Do you know cards? I will teach you a card game. And
I've seen cards played. I haven't played myself.
Alright. Corvus, he will give you a incredibly sweet and very strong alcohol that you're not entirely sure what it is.
You are going to play cards with a man who has true sight. Good fucking luck.
I know.
And he will ask if you actually want to play for coin.
Sure.
Okay. He will actually teach you how to play before he starts trying to take your money. I would like for you, Corvus. Do you have any skill with cards on your sheet?
I do not.
Right.
Corvus is going to be poor.
Alright, in that case, I want you to just make me a straight intelligence check.
Alrighty.
How much would you like to wager? Just overall.
Oh, overall.
How much money are you willing to spend on playing?
let's make it fun for the crew as well. So let's say 150 gold.
150 gold. Okay. Right. Go ahead and give me a say straight intelligence check. Right. You will lose 150 gold. But you will come away knowing how to play this card game. So go ahead and take a kit proficiency for.
Yay.
Let's see, let's come up with a nice name for this game.
Ironically, I think the only person in the party who has actually anything like Eric
Me.
might, but I do.
I do too.
That's it. The ones who have proficiency with card games.
It's a card game called Karoth. It seems to be a Saharan card game.
Alrighty.
Okay, Carrick and Care want to play Karoth?
Yeah, this will be great.
I
Or
was
does Carrick
really
and Care
gonna
to play
suggest
Karoth?
Corsair's cards.
Maybe Cassiopeia.
I would say with Corvus and Cassiopeia.
Okay. And
We may need you somebody with tool proficiency are
Yes.
up here.
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
okay. But and how readily will you drink? By the way, will you drink every time that your glass is refilled?
To the point where I know my limit as Marcus, where I'm very chatty and happy.
Okay, they
And then
seem to
that's
really
it.
like that for the card gaming. This might be why you lost so much gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you will come away from the ship slightly tipsy. He will actually walk you off the ship and down the docks a bit.
That was very entertaining.
It's a good time,
Captain.
yes.
Yes.
You-
I think that the sugar content of that alcohol was
I like
Quite a-
your face.
a bit too high. It's just, somebody that may have to check your crew with the teeth.
Oh, yes,
be rotting
don't
the
worry.
teeth
We
out.
buy them new teeth just fine.
No teeth.
Yes. And he
Oh,
gives you
yeah,
that toothy
yeah.
grin again with those shining teeth.
Ah, yes. Replacements. Good,
Yes.
good.
Right, you can make your way home.
I do believe so. Hound and Hydra down that road to the square. I'm okay.
Okay, well, you be safe, my friend, and do say hello to everybody. And please, if they wish to visit me, they are always welcome.
Of course, Captain. I am, as they say, gracious for your company and in your touch.
I thought there was
A good
she's
day,
got-
my good doctor.
Thank you.
And he will give you a sort of gentle little push off as if to help you get going.
Oh, no, raise this way. Okay. Guten Tag!
Acrobatics check.
You can make your way back.
Mhm.
You get some looks, like this is a little unbecoming, but people deal with grief of the monarchy passing in different ways, I suppose.
Right.
You can make your way back to the Hound of Hydra, a little shakily, but you can get back. Okay.
Somebody else here. Okay.
Carrick!
Look at all of this food.
Hi.
So delicious.
What are we doing, Carrick?
Gonna look up the divine plan.
You're going to look up the Divine Plan. Okay. Yeah, right. Oh,
Investigate
man.
again.
Yeah, give me an investigation with advantage if you're using the index.
Yep.
Okay. So you actually find quite a few cards for this. Most of them do point to the sort of more religious sections of the library. And you can start going through various holy books, and this idea comes up in a lot of holy books, and it is just a simple concept that the gods have a plan. One that mortal races follow along without even sort of realizing it, and that all events can be explained to, in some way or another, be the god's will. Even disasters have a reason for happening. The different religions interpret this in different ways. Some think that the Divine Plan is something to help the mortal races, come along and better themselves. Some think that it is simply just some sort of unknowable thing, that the god's machinations should not even be judged by mortal kind. But there are a lot of interpretations of it.
grab my little list here. I'm going to look for other stories tied to Morgani besides the eye.
Okay, all right. You start to. Oh, okay. Let's give.
Want me to keep rolling?
Yeah, I want you to give me another investigation check.
Advantage still or no?
Advantage still. There are references to this in there.
Oh, that one was.
Yeah. You find a couple of mentions. Looking through books referenced, there is mention of a constellation known as Morgani's Breath. Unfortunately, it is not visible on this hemisphere.
Does it say where it is visible from?
Yes. If you travel far enough, some say you can actually catch glimpses of it on the western sort of borders of the Saharan continent.
Saharan?
Saharan. Because Addie was very original with naming her desert continent.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are some small number of stars associated with it, but it's not particularly in depth.
Okay. The first Tarnstead attack.
Mm-hmm. We're trying to find information about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. That. You look for a book on more recent history. As far as you can tell, the original Tarnstead attack was a Goliath attack. However, it wasn't a particularly grand assault. It wasn't a big army as such. It was a marauding band, it seems like. More of a raid. And it does not seem particularly different from many other raids mentioned from Goliaths against borders. It is the reason that they have guard postings down there after all.
Mm-hmm. Any mention in any of it about if they attacked for any reason?
Seems to steal food goods and precious metals trades. Basically, they looted and went.
Okay.
Notably, there were no people taken.
Is that unusual?
It depends on the tribe. This does go into barbarian tribes a little bit. Some do actually have a very staunch thing against taking prisoners. They will happily kill somebody, but to enslave is not a thing a lot of the tribes like to do. Some tribes are a little more lax than that. They will take captives. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they don't like to take captives, at least the tribes that were known to be along Tarnstead's borders.
Okay.
Which is quite different to what you know actually happened recently.
Yes. The other eye of Morgani,
mm-hmm.
but specifically why it became this important holy site.
Okay.
Like the actual reason it was.
Yep. Give me another roll.
27 for once. I got
okay, man. Character doing a lot of reading. Right.
Yeah.
So the Eye of Morgani gained its importance in quite ancient history, to the point that the reason there are a few different stories on why. There are some stories saying that gazing upon this, the original sort of dragons of this area could feel her gaze and heard her voice when looking upon this eye, and they believe it is what watches over them and guides them. Some humans believe that it got its name simply because of its resemblance and some old forms of magic used star reading, and it seemed to boost whatever spell was being cast in that regard. And thus became associated with Morgani because of the resemblance and the fact it seemed magically potent. And beyond that, there are just various little tales and folklores that don't seem to have any particular relevance.
And I'm guessing I probably can pull one more.
I'll let you have one more.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to spend the best part of the day reading here.
This is going to be the one that's probably going to be needing that really good luck. I'm looking for stuff about the Dreamer.
Okay, you are looking for stuff about the Dreamer.
Specifically, prophecies. But I'm going to look for anything because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a hard thing to find.
What you find when trying to look up things about the Dreamer, you find a old story about the Dreamer, which just seems to be a tale about a sort of forlorn little housewife who had grand aspirations and wished to leave and pursue her dreams. Not relevant. You find references to the Dreamer in a sense of a Fey Lord who was known to visit people's dreams. Again, doesn't seem particularly relevant. Looking into it, it does just seem like standard folklore. And you don't find much about the Dreamer in the sense that you know of it.
Okay. Kicking Corvus in the shins for that comment.
And
Corvus also looked for the Dreamer, found nothing.
And this takes you pretty late into the day, and you have been doing a lot of reading. It's to the point where candles are actually being lit in here now.
Have I had the other two come up to me yet by any chance?
Gifton, did you and Care just leave Carrick be, or would you have spoke to him?
I'd have left him be.
You left him be, so you think they may have left without telling you?
Okay.
Maybe you didn't hear them when they said goodbye.
I will grab the maps, and I'm gonna actually stop by the desk and inquire if they left.
When you come down to the
The
desk, the scribe definitely acting differently now. He straightens up when you come along and goes, "That's the Lady Brotgren and Sir Brotgren. They departed some hours ago, sir."
Oh, thank you, sir. You have a wonderful night. I will be returning these tomorrow morning.
Of course, sir. And you can tell that you taking these out of the library irks him something fierce.
He does. How are they relatively new?
Yeah, they seem to be relatively new.
Okay, so I don't think wrapping them like they should be and putting them in a map case should be bad for them.
No.
So I'm going to carefully do that in front of him
Mhm.
and tuck them in my map case, and so he can see them taking care with them. And then
No, Care's with me.
I was gonna say you already left.
gonna go get Care and bring him back. And I'm gonna head to the Hound and Hydra.
Okay, you make your way back. Gifton.
Yep.
Would you and Care have headed directly back to the Hound Hydra, or do you want to do something else?
I am going to take him outside, look him deeply in the eyes, and go, "Do you want to go try and find Forrest and Dylan Shrine, or do you want to just go eat a lot of food and hide in the Hound and the Hydra?"
Can we do both? I mean, finding an Illidan Shrine would be kind of nice, getting out of here a bit. That was a little scary.
Yeah, let's go to the Dylan Shrine first, and then we can go back and spend the rest of the day just eating, okay?
Ah, that would be great. I'm sure Dingus would appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would. And Dazzle a bit. I mean, she likes bacon, okay?
Yes, I don't think she likes the show. She likes it, but she likes it.
Yeah. And I will lead him off to the Dylan Temple.
Okay, you can head out of the city gates without any real issue. And yeah, there's the sort of lovely Illidan Temple, which I believe I've already visited here.
Yep, I have already visited there.
Yep. And you can...
Was Father Ted there?
Father Ted is there. You actually catch him in the midst of doing some gardening, as Illidan priests like to do.
He's not giving a talk.
He actually seems to be doing this a sort of small prayer as he's planting flowers.
Oh.
And give me a nature check.
I'm gonna load up my skills and not be good at nature. Not good at nature.
That's good enough. This is Royal Bloom that he's planting.
I will go over and help it along.
And he smiles at you as you come on over and gives a little nod as he's sort of tucking dirt around the plant's base, and Gifton, it's nice to see you again.
It's good to see you too, Father Ted. This is my husband, Care.
Oh, and he gets up and sort of brushes his dirty hands off on his robes, seemingly uncaring for the state, and reaches out, shakes Care's hand.
Immediately endearing himself to Care. Yes, that's how it's done, sir.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you. Your wife paid me a very kind visit, and you're a lucky man. And Care sort of smiles and nods, and yes, very, very lucky. And Father Ted looks at Lizzie Gifton and goes, what brings you back?
It's a little city in the city, and this is a nice reprieve.
Ah, yes, well, please spend as much time here as you need. I was just planting something for... And you see him look towards the city centre.
I nod, and like I said, I'll help it along a little bit, and I'm going to take my ring off and look at the husband to do the same.
Yeah, he will take his ring off.
And we'll go admire flowers and help them grow.
Look how tall they are.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good way to forget the city a bit, right?
Yep.
And make the garden bigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do call me if you need anything.
Will do.
And you see him just going off and sort of checking on other flowers, watering some.
Remember to yell if the cat finds you.
You spend a sort of nice time walking amongst your own immensely big garden at this scale.
Yep. Nice big garden. Could enjoy it better.
Yeah.
I figured probably makes for a nice walk.
Yes, I mean, you can even see like aphids at their proper scale and everything.
Well, it's like everything's normal again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll tend to things, and we'll be kind and social with anybody if they're there. But we're just
Cassie. Oh, Cassie's dead.
Toby.
I'm here. What's up?
What would you like to be doing with Cass? You got your sword.
Yep. Cass was cruising by the library. No idea where to go, what to do.
It is.
Is there an Oran temple here?
An Orland temple?
Yes, Orland.
Yeah, there is an Orland temple here. You don't know its location, but knowing the faith set, you'd imagine that it's in a similar location to the previous one you visited.
The water.
Mm-hmm. They, for a god of war, they seem to put a lot of importance on the ocean.
He likes mud wrestling.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's morning, so they might be locked down. But Cass is going to ask someone if they know where the temple is.
You stop by a stall that just... He's not really trying to hawk his wares or anything. He's just standing there looking a little lost. And he perks up a bit as you're coming over. And said, the Orland Temple. Yeah, it's just across the river, down by the docks. The southern docks.
Southern docks? I can find them now. I know which side of the river it's on.
Yeah. You take the bridge.
What's he selling?
He is just selling, looks to be... let's see, what is he selling? He's selling a variety of fruit. You got some apples, some pears.
Cass is going to buy a smattering, about 5 silver worth.
Thank you kindly, lady. You take the bridge closer to the ocean. It'll get you there quicker.
Thank you.
Okay.
She's going to wave politely as she goes.
And he nods and gives you a little wave as you depart. And if you head down across the river down here, the Orland Temple is actually pretty visible. It is this L-shaped building.
Cass is going to stop on the bridge and just gawk at the ocean for a minute and then head down.
If you actually take in the sight, the Orland Temple actually seems to have its own pier built into it. You can see it's actually part of the stonework, and there is a ship there that it's not particularly apparent. The sails seem to be pretty plain, but as you get closer, you can see there is actually Orlan symbols on some of the banisters and so on.
Oh, that's intriguing. Cass is going to walk over to the temple. The ship has got her curiosity piqued at this point.
As you approach the temple, you can actually pretty soon hear noise coming from it. While the rest of the city seems to be somewhat quiet, you can hear yells, some sort of chanting coming from this temple. And the occasional sound of, it sounds, you've heard the sort of bottom metal parts of hafted weapons being slammed into stonework.
Oh yeah, they'd be so excited with war on the horizon.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Kat, are the doors open or are they closed?
As you come around and sort of, you come in from the side, and as you start to come around to the front, not only are the doors open, there are in fact priests out front. I mean, priests, just because you know what they are, they're not particularly priestly looking. They seem to be in full plate armor, just the bare vestments being shown through just these loincloths that hang down between armored legs.
This is going to approach.
And they are carrying these long pole arms with these rather wicked-looking blades on top. And as you approach them, the chanting does seem to be in honor of the king, and basically blessing him on his journey wherever he goes, and declaring their readiness for vengeance for him. And as you come up to them, one that seems to be leading the declaration holds his hand up. The rest just slam their weapons down in the ground and fall silent as he looks at you. Hard to tell his age or such, as he's wearing a helmet.
Cass is just going to do her polite wave. Hi.
Resume drills, and he shouts at the others, and they seem to start pairing off, ready to duel each other. And he comes up to you and goes, "Odd day to pay a visit for faith, lady."
Just kind of wandering, that sort of day, and it's interesting to visit the temples of the gods, and the temple in Dovewood was interesting in its architecture, looking like a fortress, and yours piqued my interest because, well, you have a warship. How? A warship?
Of course.
You know how cool that is.
We must be ready to wage war on the seas as well as the land. In the name of Orlan.
That's kind of Gus. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Oh, are you one of the faithful?
I kind of have. It's a long story, but Father Coppershield in Dovewood said they did sparring practice, and
Coppershield, how is he?
Last I saw was me rapidly descending away from the drawbridge into the moat.
I got the best of you, did he?
Oh, yeah, I was beside myself in anger, and he figured I needed to cool off, so he pitched me off the drawbridge.
He always knew best when I was a lad as well. And he takes his helmet off, and it does seem to be a in his 30s human, just sort of brown hair, cut very, very short, piercing blue eyes, just looking at you, and he's got a bit of a grin on. He's very chiseled, very scarred. Seems to be a few scars on his cheeks. You think the corner of one of his lips would split right open at some point.
You've been through quite a bit.
Of course, I proved my faith.
So
Yeah.
I was curious if I might be able to spar with someone or join drills, as it were, if I heard.
Yeah. If you want to join in our display of faith, you'd be more than welcome. No, not enough in the city that are ready to show such.
Cass puts out her hand to shake his. Before we go any further, I'm Caspia Pia Steelshod.
And he does not take your hand, rather he grasps your forearm and pulls you in as he shakes it. Yes, we're still shot, you say. And I've known some still shots in my time.
Probably my mother.
Your mother, what was her name?
Serendipity.
Serendipity. Oh, I met her once or twice. Your company came through here on occasion, especially when they needed some reaffirmation of what they were doing. Oh no, I need a name. We have this. I'm Rorik Fally.
Rorik? Fally?
Fally? V-A-L-I. You can call me Rorik, though. No need for that father nonsense here. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's truly an honor.
Especially someone that has eyes for the Tempest and the sort of motion towards the ship.
I lived down in Tarnstead, and we didn't really see much of the sea, so seeing a ship that's owned by one of the churches is just kind of amazing.
Well, it's nice to hear. So, you want a sparring partner?
If I may, I need to stay in form.
It'll be my honor. And he sort of clasps his hand to his chest, gives you a sort of slight bow of his upper body.
She'll step back and do the same.
And he actually just sort of twirls this long hafted weapon around and points it to you. What's your dueling practice? Blood?
If you wish. And she's going to draw out Tempest.
My wish. I don't draw to the blood, I draw to the surrender. No good fighting until you bleed. The battle will be over too soon.
And Cass is going to take a few strides back further.
You agree to this?
What was that?
You agree to this?
I agree.
Ah, good. Right, let us begin then. And you will get to engage this man in a one-on-one duel, and you've fought quite a few people at this point. Do you want to use any of your actual abilities, or are you trying to do this on a level playing field?
I'm going to scope him out first.
Okay. You engage him in a duel, and it's a little.
I already feel cheating because I've got Tempest, but
it's a little frightening, Cass. That hafted weapon of his, he barely seems to focus on using the blade. It just twirls around him, and you start to lose track of end on end. And you swear you are moving to block blows, and you are just being hit where you're not expecting it. And you think maybe, actually, level playing field might be using your abilities.
And Cass is actually going to swoop out of the combat. And as she hits that backstride about 20 feet or so away, she's going to go full tilt into him.
Okay, you charge into him.
Yep, and letting the thunder hit the hooves as she goes charging in.
Okay, you charge him with your electric fury, and he will take that blow very, very eagerly. He holds up his weapon in front of him and uses that to try and sort of absorb some of that energy, letting his arms crumple back just a bit to dissipate it. And as that electricity flows, you see these little, lightning bolts going into his armor. And rather concernedly, that armor lights up in spots. These sort of runes seeming to take that energy on. And his grin widens. He goes, a blessed one are you?
If you can call it that.
Oh, no need to hold back then. And this paladin of Orlan also starts to become very sparky.
Oh shit!
And you are now in a duel with somebody who is not bothering to hold back their electrical discharges. You've seen Gifton smite things before. It feels very, very similar to that, only instead of this sort of divine energy, there are discharges of thunder and lightning as he fights you.
Why do I just imagine everyone in the neighborhood just stopping as all of a sudden lightning bolts and thunder are just coming out of this place?
It's also
Very,
the
very
different
bright.
thing of you've seen many things get smited by Gifton and explode and go, ooh, that probably hurt. This time it's, oh, it definitely hurt.
Yes, it is. It is not pleasantly sparky. It's not good.
No.
Do you have resistance on lightning?
Actually, I believe I do, even though if I'm not enraged.
I think you have that at this point in your vestige.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
always lightning resistant.
Yeah.
I believe.
No,
So-
it's not part of the vestige. It's part of.
yeah, it's the,
The barbarian?
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah.
you're barbarian. You're lightning resistant, but you're not thunder resistant.
Lethal net, yeah.
She hasn't gotten angry yet, but she's getting very close to it. This is getting a little out of control.
And as you're fighting him, he seems to very much be enjoying himself, and you can actually hear him saying prayers in the middle of combat. Sometimes a prayer for other people. Strangely enough, seems he really does legitimately believe that he's best showing his faith through here. It doesn't necessarily be a prayer for him to win. At one point, you hear him saying a prayer, hoping Orlan will help a little girl in her fight against her illness. And
Cass will charge into him on that.
Yeah, and he does something a little weird when you do that. When you charge him as he's saying that prayer, he actually seems to move his arms aside, holding his weapon out on one side, the other just sort of leaving his chest unguarded, as if welcoming the charge. Do you want to connect it?
She's going. He's just leaving himself wide open for a full-on shot.
Mhm.
She's going to flip the blade on its flat and hit him full on in the chest with a flat.
Okay, and are you carrying your body into the charge as well?
Oh, yeah, she's going to hike him up and drag him down.
Alright, so there is the clang of metal on metal as you impact him at full speed with the flat of your blade. And you can feel his body moving as you lift him up off of the ground. And as you're sort of carrying him through this, you hear his weapon clattering to the ground, and then you feel arms around you. And there is a sudden jolt of his body as he slams his feet back into the ground, and the man is going to try and fucking carry you over him, Cass.
He's going to suplex a centaur.
Suplex!
Alright,
That will break you in half.
this is going to be a contested strength check, Cass. Unless you want to try and dexterity out of it.
Contested strength.
Once again, Cassiopeia meets the best NPCs.
Oh, athletics, I should say.
Athletics? Okay.
Yeah, athletics
I
or
can do
acrobatics, what you depending which you would prefer. Right. Oh, nice. Okay, so you both roll terribly. So you feel your body starting to lift, Cass, and that is a strange sensation for you. It is not often in your life that you have been lifted up like this, but you very quickly manage to sort of shift your black body to try and throw your weight down, and it's uncomfortable because he does get your upper body up, but he does not manage to suplex the centaur. But you have never come that close before. And as
Cass is kind of wide-eyed.
And as he's sort of holding you there, his arm's still around you, he gives you a grin and goes, had to try.
Cass, unrealizingly, has the flat of her palm against his chest.
Mhm.
As she's starting to light up, and she kind of pulls it back suddenly.
And he just sort of lets you go and brushes his chest off and goes, oh, This doesn't seem to be getting us anywhere. It's good prayer, but I'm running out of people to pray to.
Well, you kind of spooked me there.
Ah, surely you've had that happen before. You must have fought many things.
Oh,
I can tell that you're a fighter.
usually everyone's running scared.
You need to find more worthy opponents then. I tell you what, you sail out to the east. The Minotaurs of Koth, they will give you a fight. You think I'm strong?
I have a target. It's going to be a while.
Oh. He sort of goes and picks his weapon up again and just sort of sets its space back on the ground, uses it to lean a bit. And target, a worthy one.
I honestly, I assume you have heard of what happened to Tarnstead, yes?
Yeah, of course.
I'm one of the survivors.
Vengeance on your mind then?
More bringing down the person and stopping the stupidity, because the warlord in charge has attempted to sack multiple towns. And the second one cost me my family.
Yeah. I'm sorry
It's
to
not
hear that.
vengeance. Vengeance is a stupid and messy thing.
Vengeance is a useful tool sometimes. You can control
Yes,
your rage,
but
use it to guide you. It can help you in battle.
If everyone goes for an eye, then the world becomes blind.
No, you don't go for an eye. You make sure that they can't see at all. You take both your eyes, you put them down. Make sure they don't hurt somebody again.
That's why I want Scrim.
Good. Not vengeance then. Retribution. Far better.
Think of it more as a peacekeeping action.
Whatever you got to tell yourself, girl. Still, I'll put you in my prayers. Not that I think you need it.
It's been a very long trip. But I thank you. It's very rarely that I actually get to take someone who's actually given back as hard.
Oh,
Tell
I'm
me.
glad. Yeah?
What? How did you eat the lightning?
How did I eat the lightning?
Cass is kind of rubbing her hands, little arcs coming off. She's like, usually the second the sparks start flying, people start going,
There's a couple of things. This armor's old. Been a relic for our church for a long time. It helps with that. You can't sail into a tempest and fight with lightning while it's going about uncontrolled. Helps focus my own powers a bit and protects me from others.
Well, it's an excellent relic to have.
Hmm.
Because it certainly did put me on my rear hoof.
What about you? This natural born or from an artifact?
Natural born.
Unusual. What are you, some kind of sorcerer? Nice to see when they take up a blade and try and put some muscle into it.
No, I'm. She thinks for a second. I'm the product of a lot of careful breeding.
I'd like to know what kind of breeding does that, but I can see you're answering delicately, so I won't press.
Thank you.
Still, no one's surrendered yet, and he's actually hefting that weapon back up.
How hurt does he look, if any?
Not particularly. He actually looks
He's a
frothy.
goddamn paladin. He can lay on hands anytime he wants.
Welcome to
Cass is going to
meeting the
kinda
top
shrug.
paladin of the Orlon Church.
Is there anyone behind him?
Yeah, there's a few that are occupied in their own jewels. A couple seem to have stopped to... You can actually see one man is clutching a very open wound on his arm, just chilling beside the person who seemed to have inflicted that wound, and they're just both watching, chatting happily amongst each other.
I'm kind of looking at anyone who's directly behind him, kind of waving to them to move to the side.
And you get a couple of quirked eyebrows, but they know better than to ignore a middle of combat suggestion to move. So they move.
And I'm hitting him with a lightning bolt.
You're gonna hit him with a lightning bolt. Okay, roll your damage, please.
It's just her going, move, move. Thank you. Zark! Damage?
Yep, roll the damage, please. Okay.
The new sound for lightning bolt. Zark.
Oh! Oh, he can't. He can't. Oh god, that is a failure. It's a natural 1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You see your lightning art forward, and yeah, that armor glows severely. You can see these runes lighting up like nobody's business, and you see him sort of cross his arms above his head as if trying to dissipate some of this somewhat. And then you see this basically wall that there was a low stone wall that the other two that were chatting and watching and then moved away from does actually splinter with this lightning impacting it, and there is that crackle of stonework, exploding mildly, and that lightning courses through the man, and you actually see him fall to a knee, and that armor and his body seems to be smoking somewhat as your lightning dissipates.
Cass is just going to stop. Do you yield?
And you see him sort of look up again, glance over his shoulder back at the stonework before, standing up, brushing himself off and going, if only for the sake of my temple, sure.
Probably a good thing because I think
She
get it.
That's quite some breeding you got there, girl.
Cass is kind of nodding. Yeah, like I said, bread for it. I apologize. I would offer to repair the damage, but I'm not a stoneworker.
Don't you worry. We've had to fix up plenty of stonework around here. And if it's too much for us, we'll go pay our Talan brothers a visit.
Ah,
Steal a couple stones from them. Good idea.
They do like our midnight raids.
well, truly strike the fear of someone into them.
Oh, of course.
Break one of their stained glass windows and just leave a note. Thaldir was here.
Yeah, he quirks an eyebrow a bit, sort of a little amused look on his face, not quite understanding, but getting the jest.
And she will actually explain Thaldir to him.
Right. Yeah, you can strike up a sort of casual conversation with him, and I take
She's picking him up, dusting him off, not apologizing for blasting him.
nor does he seem to actually expect any sort of apology. He seems quite pleased with how this has gone.
And she's going to explain the attack on Dolwood and the fact that Thaldir, despite everything, being a great shot, somehow missed, and that hammer kind of decided it wanted that window.
He seems to appreciate the story, and you'll actually get regaled back with a few tales of his own. This church does seem to have done quite a few sea engagements, and he'll tell you particularly strange battles they've had, times that they had to fight in a literal tempest, which was an experience. And yeah, you can spend... how long do you want to spend chatting with these people, Cass?
A couple hours. Just regale stories, because even though Cass doesn't want to be a fighter, she realizes she has been, and she has some great tales.
Yeah.
She's going to tell the story of how the tiny little fae slew a dragon turtle.
You actually get some playfully jab things of like, no, there's no way. They know what a dragon turtle is. There's no way you've gone up against one of those.
Cass is smiling, going, mm-hmm.
And
I had to tear apart most of our traveling wagon to keep the ship afloat. I think they're still in dock in Colthwaite.
oh, well, I hope they get themselves out of there soon enough. Apparently, it's a little rocky there.
Yeah, we were there when that all went down.
You sure you're seeking out trouble, or was it just seeking you?
Yes.
Yeah. That's how it always is.
Yeah, it is.
Once you get into this life,
We
it's
don't
kind
go
of hard to
looking
tell
for
the
trouble,
difference.
Trouble finds us, and then we go looking for the trouble.
Well, that's a path that never ends, but sounds like you're in good stead.
I have some of the best friends one could hope for.
Always good to have people you can rely on. It's actually time for us to start leading a evening sermon for the less combative of our faithful.
And thank you for the chance to challenge someone on my level, as it were.
You ever need to come declare your prayers to the gods or even blow off some steam, you come see us again.
And she'll hold out her hand again for him.
And he'll give you that same forearm grasping shake.
And Cass is going to say thank you and trot off.
And you're able to leave. You're going to head back to the Hydra and Hound? Okay.
I will say I take offense with one thing. We had no evidence that there was ever a good shot.
Nope.
Yeah.
Slander.
Somehow the axes and hammers always made it to the window.
All right.
Was he always aiming for the window?
Right.
Telday,
Yes.
you make your way to the keep, yes?
Yep.
Okay, as you get to the keep, familiar presence outside. The guards you know so well give you a sort of little nod as you come on over. Telday,
Salute.
how are things? Bad question.
I'm here to speak to High General, if possible.
Oh, so you're here to see Stenhouse? I'm sure I'd appreciate the company.
Affirmative.
I could go check and see the doctors to see if you're allowed, but I mean, you won't cause trouble if they turn you away, right?
I do not plan to.
Alright, oh, you go on in then. I mean, yeah, you're authorized. Well, yes. And he just sort of awkwardly opens up the gate for you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And you. And you let through with basically minimal checks. You're authorized to carry weapons and such. And one of the inner guards will actually just point you towards the building that is the hospital ward, essentially.
I will just continue that way.
Yeah. Once you get in there, you do see a few of the military doctors and nurses treating these people. It does seem to be a straight into a medical ward. There's no pre-rooms or anything like that. There is a little desk up front that just seems to have someone seated at it who looks up at you and goes, "Can I help you?"
I am here to speak with High General Stenhouse.
You're supposed to be in the other building. If you need me to come check on you all, I'm happy to have another talk.
I am an exception.
I see. Okay. You're here to see High General, you say?
Affirmative.
He shouldn't be seeing visitors, but I think it's quiet him down a bit.
I have some medical skill if there is an issue.
Try not to get him too excited. He should be resting.
I will attempt to do so.
Right, if you go to the back, there's a staircase up to the second floor. He's in one of the private wards.
Thank you.
And she nods and just sort of goes back down to her paperwork.
I'll head for that.
Right, you head on up, and you soon enough find his room. There seems to be some rooms here sequestered for various patients. And opening it up, there is the High General laying in bed. Seems to be trying to read a book, but you can see by that furrowed brow, he's not enjoying it. But as you open up the door, he lowers the book down, and his face lights up. Telday! Please, come in.
Sir, salute.
Oh, not enough of that nonsense. Just come in, boy.
I am not a boy.
Oh,
Comes in anyway.
you're a young lad. A lad? You prefer a lass?
It does not matter.
No. Oh, young lad or lass, whichever you don't prefer, I'd suppose. What brings you here? I'm glad to see you.
Unfortunately, it is not good news. Going to close the door.
Oh, well, what is it, boy? Well, any of yours hurt in the event?
No, but I have more information as to the origin of the attack.
The origin? What? You all have found out stuff? You find weird information. Well, what do you know?
You may wish to stops in the middle of that.
He looks at you laying in bed.
The doctors cautioned me against getting you too excited. This may be difficult.
What does the doctor know? Tell me, boy. Tell me.
Your second in command was behind the attack.
What?
It appears I may have incorrect information as to the order of your hierarchy.
Oh.
General Rizal was behind the attack.
James?
Indeed.
It's preposterous, boy.
It is not.
He actually looks a little angry, and you see him sort of sitting up in bed a bit more, dragging himself up. And as he does so, you can actually see the heavy bandaging that is around his torso. What on earth would make you say such a thing?
All of the information that has been provided to me.
And what information is that?
The direct testimony of Gifton Brockgren.
Brockgren told you that James did this?
Yes. In that he had told her directly.
That's not possible. I have known the lad most of his life.
How long is that?
He had his 25th birthday last year, I think.
That would correlate with the timing that we have been given for the son of the former Talon priest.
What are you talking about?
Based on the information that I've been given, he is, or claims to be, an angelic being possessing the son of a former Talon priest. One who I was sent to help dispatch in Coldthwaite.
This is some kind of jest. It's not a particularly funny one.
I am not here to jest. I am here to prevent an unnecessary false war and to ensure justice.
There's no way an angel, an angelic being.
That is the information I've been given. He certainly claims as such.
No, it's not possible. I've seen that boy's career since he was in basic training. An angelic being. It's utter nonsense.
And yet, it is exactly what he has claimed.
Your friend claims that he claimed.
No, he has claimed such in direct conversations that I have been present for.
And you're not misunderstanding some humor, a full story or such?
Not at all.
He gives you a sort of doubtful look. And he's said he's an angel.
Yes.
And he said that he orchestrated this.
I was not present for conversations in which he said that he orchestrated this attack, but I do believe Miss Brockgren. And the evidence in terms of motive does seem to apply.
You can see he's starting to grasp the sort of bed sheets a bit, and his breathing seems to be getting more and more laboured. This is not funny, Telday.
I know, sir.
Yeah, kill the man we saved.
There is... What you are suggesting is not possible. James is a good, loyal man, and I have put my life in his hands, and you will not slander his name.
I do not wish to do so. I believe that he is motivated by what he believes to be what is right, but he will cause many deaths to do so.
Now you listen here, boy, and he actually starts to get up out of bed. You see him swinging his legs around, and he pushes himself up, and Telday, you can clearly see that he is shaking as he does so. Not with rage or anything, but physically struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And as he starts to step over to you, sort of raising his hand as if to give you a lecture, his movements waver more, and he actually starts to tumble forward.
I will move to grab him.
And as you grab him, you can see that bandaging covering most of his front is a bit more red on it than when you first beheld him, and he seems to be labouring for breath.
I am going to immediately cast Cure Wounds at 5th level.
Okay, go ahead and give that a roll. Thank you very much.
Holy shit, that was a bad second dice.
Yeah, that's... Wow. I don't know. It averaged out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still decent. It's just red because it has the one in it.
And you cast this on him, and that red patterning stops spreading so much. I mean, there's still a little bit because, that does happen. But I believe you've sealed up whatever's teared. But as you sort of hold him and grasp him, you feel his hand grasp you as he's trying to pull himself up. Stop this nonsense. You get out.
I am sorry to have disturbed you, sir.
Just get out, boy. Oh. And he sort of pushes off of you and quickly, sits himself onto the end of his bed.
As much as you may not wish to listen to what I say, I do ask that you attempt to delay any war. Unnecessary loss of life is quite tragic.
Don't tell me about unnecessary loss of life. It's already been unnecessary loss of life.
Then any further would be worse.
What is this game? Is this to try and alleviate my guilt, my failings, and place it on someone else?
I know of no failings on your part, sir.
I'm in charge of our military, I'm in charge of our border patrols, I'm in charge of our air defense, and I let them through, Telday.
It appears not, sir. It appears that someone else did.
Get up, boy. I'm not going to hear any more of this.
I am sorry about that.
Go ahead and give me an insight check, Telday.
Certainly not the best, but not my worst.
Okay, he seems angry and troubled. And that troubled part tells you that maybe he's, refusing to believe it right now, or actually wanting to hear it. He's not ignoring what you're saying, if not believing it. Just get out, boy.
I am truly sorry, sir.
He does not reply to you. He seems to set his jaw, and he's sort of staring off at the wall, ignoring you.
We'll open the door and walk out. Close it solemnly behind.
Okay. And you can start making your way out of the medical ward if you so wish. Or you could stay there.
Forever.
I'm going to look around. Is there a lot of people that are...
There aren't too many full beds. You see the occasional one that, there were a few guards injured, but not terribly so. Frankly, it was either dead or healed for most of them. But you see a few people around, be it through just training accidents, some with a fever. There are people here. It's not that many.
Okay, so it's mostly just
It's the day-to-day injuries.
Yeah. Okay. Till they will head down to head out.
You leaving already?
I do believe that I should leave at this time.
Well, I hope he was happy to see you at least.
Not at all.
And the receptionist frowns a little bit as you say that. I'll send someone to check up on him.
That would likely be good.
And she actually gets up, and you can hear her mumbling, "Shit, I'm in trouble," as he goes off to find somebody.
Tilde is going to head back toward the...
Hydra and the Hound?
Yeah.
Or back to the palace to redouble your efforts?
No. He's going to head back toward the Hydra and the Hound.
Okay. Right, head back to the Hydra and the Hound. RG, you do spend a good few hours with your grandfather, but it is getting rather late in the evening now, and while he does not try to dismiss you, you see some of his servants are being a little, antsy. As
RG
if
will actually...
there's stuff that they are wanting to remind him that he should be taken care of, but they really don't want to disturb him.
RG will actually politely just going, I think I should probably get back. They're probably back from what they had to get done in town today, and I don't want to keep them waiting or worried.
Oh, just, so soon. And then he actually sort of looks at the windows where it's getting dark. It's, not so soon. Oh, if you must go, you do come back, though, please.
Absolutely. And she's actually going to, she's going to actually pull out one of the sending stones she has.
Oh, what's this?
It's a sending stone. I've got the other half of it.
And he smiles as he sort of reaches out to take it. Oh, maybe I won't have to lose track of you so soon then.
Hopefully not.
And as he sort of takes it and holds it, you are then pulled into a tight embrace.
And she'll return the embrace.
I know you've been through a lot, and I know I didn't part on the best terms with her, but I'm sure if your mother saw you now, she'd be very proud of you.
That means a lot.
Your father, too. He was a good boy. I just wish I could have seen that then.
No use beating ourselves up.
No use, but sometimes you can't help it.
I know that.
Let me walk you to the door. And he actually sort of
Okay.
takes your arms as if in a sort of gentlemanly escort.
She'll let him and walk with him.
Yeah, and as he takes you out to the gates, the guards pop him a sort of a little salute, informal, as they're not particularly trained, but they do pay their respects. And he goes, if my granddaughter here comes back, you are to let her in straight away, no questions. Of course, my lord. Good. Right. You'll be safe walking home?
Absolutely.
Okay, you
Thank you again,
watch
Grandpa.
after yourself.
I'll try my best.
And he gives you a small hug again for
She'll
letting you
hug.
go. And he watches you go, and he does not move from that spot as you go down the street.
Archie will, before she turns the corner towards the Hydra, or turns the corner be out of view, actually turn back around and wave one more time.
And you see him sort of move a hand up to his lips and then sort of just wave back at you.
Then she'll smile again and keep going.
You make your way back to the Hydra and the Hound. Gifton.
Yep.
You're able to spend some nice time at the Inland Temple with Care before you hear his stomach rumble.
All right, let's get you back in. There's probably lots of food to eat back at the thing. And we'll get our rings back on and head out.
And we can maybe get some stuff on the way as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of street food, I bet.
Yeah, unfortunately, you say that, and then as you guys walk back, there is not a lot of street food.
Yeah, we'll get something passable.
You can pick up some fruits as you head back in. And Care seems like a little sad that he was not able to get street meat.
Yeah.
But he sort of just wraps an arm over your shoulder as you guys walk back.
Yep.
And you're able to sort of filter your way back to the tavern. In various orders. When you guys get back, there is a Corvus that seems a little tipsy.
Aha! Hey, welcome back. The food is delicious. Better to have some. She's cooking so much.
You look really go well with Denoran then.
It went swimmingly. I shouldn't say that on the boat. It makes sense. But it went well. It went very well. And I say that our mutual librarians didn't say to you look good.
Yeah, minor blood tests. It's fine. But
blood test.
We've got access for everybody to the library, and I've got you a tutor. When you're more sober, we can talk about it.
I'm concerned with extracting blood.
I am not in school.
Corvus never having a formal education.
Corvus.
Yes.
Permission to administer care.
What?
What? Cal is your husband, and I
lay on hands for 5 points.
You're purging toxin.
I'm purging toxins.
Okay, Corvus, it's rather disorientating how rapidly you sober up.
I just go from the other table, just look and go, Doc, come on, that's the most talkative I've seen him. And then she's gonna count our fingers for a second. And go,
ever?
What age are we?
I like drunk Corvus.
I am
drunk once before.
Barely for like just a couple minutes before he retired.
I'm assuming Carrick's also here, and the rest of us are all here.
Yeah, you can all have come in at your own paces.
All right, well,
coming in slightly singed and slightly bruised.
That's normal for her. Just so you know, I spoke with Lady Gentle. I gave her the information she wanted.
My head is hurting.
Mostly about brownies is what she was interested in. I tried to dodge any of the other topics. I did. She was very kind. I nodded to Carrick, and she paid for everyone to have a membership at the library, and we are to be treated most graciously by the head librarian, who hates it. So if you ever want to just irk the librarian, just go browse. But it's a good arrangement. She's reasonable enough to work with. I hope what I gave her in our trade will give you what you need, Carrick. She seemed quite happy with what she got. Corvus, I asked her to come talk to you about anything you should know so that you don't have any accidents with the tools that you've been given or received. Anything that would be a hazard to those around you as a direct thing. I'm also hoping she could be a little bit more friendly with you. She doesn't seem as quite connected with the rest of them, and she might be
that is good. I just have some thoughts to be more amenable to her. The other side of that organization is
not what you like, but
not what I intended.
I know. That's why I talked to her on as your friend who is concerned about you, and I'm sorry if I overstepped, but I think it would be good for you to take her information and use your good judgment on it, because of course we don't know if we can trust her, but I would like you to have safe counsel, and I need to assure that you have that. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
I gave her some of my blood, some of Kare's blood, and a feather. I think that will be useful for her research.
That is. Research is a very broad topic with that organization, as is with what my research is as well. You can do things with items. You can manipulate them.
Yes. She also has a book. She thinks I may be able to withstand to read. That she's hoping she's hoping to have read by someone who could do that. At another time, many days hence. She's
before we get much further into this,
the
Talday.
book is why she doesn't have eyes.
Oh, I thought she had the Azovs. Okay.
I shake my head at you.
Talday went to go speak with the palace god concerning.
Tilda here?
Probably not, since he.
If you wanted to be back till day, you can be back. It's up to you.
Yeah, I was thinking
Okay.
Because I'll be honest, I don't think I took
That long? No.
terribly long.
Yeah, some waiting, but you'd be back pretty soon.
Yeah, we're probably. I just assume we're all back.
Yeah.
The latest is Carrick and Cass.
Yeah,
all right,
everyone's
so you're telling
back.
me. Yeah. So are you still telling me Tilda was out?
So you can talk privately, even with everyone back. So
yeah.
Yeah.
He will.
I was just talking with everybody, letting everybody, because I'm being leadery, so I'm telling people what I did.
He will open hand to Talday. Talday pays the palace a visit to talk about Uzel.
Why would you do that, Tilda?
Because unnecessary loss of life should be prevented.
I'm going to give you a slightly horrified look.
He wants to bring General Razel under charges of treason or assassination.
Is that what all of you want?
Carrick's giving Telday a look. Voice of daggers from eyes is the look.
I tried to speak with him before he left, but
that was very convincing.
I am not one that I understand what he is doing, but I still do not appreciate that man. I was going to just let things happen as they fall, but Talday wants things to be done in just.
A war of innocents dying is not the correct route for any actions.
What do you think's gonna happen?
What do you think is going to happen if this continues?
I don't know. Maybe we have a shot. Maybe we can try to temper it. Maybe.
If we cannot attempt to temper it,
No,
we are
lose
throwing
the
away
world.
numerous. We have no guarantees that his actions will do anything more than kill numerous innocents.
And we have no guarantees you're walking around will kill innocents. What's
Then
the difference?
we
Okay.
shall do what we must try to prevent the death of innocents. A war serves no one except death.
So you think he's lying?
No, I think he is deluded.
I think you're deluded. Carrick's getting up and walking out.
He sees only his goal. He sees no consequences. He does not care.
He does care.
No, he cares about his goal. And about those he knows directly. You, for instance. I was given the mandate to protect you above all else.
Because he needed me. So I have to die. So I'm just a key, okay? Is that what you want? Is it? Gifton actually looks like she's, for the first time, really just not sure if she's mad or gonna cry. And she's gonna very quietly unshift the walkie-talkie off and lay it on the table. I've been wrong about a great many things. I'm sorry. And I can't be here. And she's going to go to her room and get her things.
Care watches her go upstairs briefly, and looks at the rest of you with a sort of pained look before he already follows along behind her. Right, and that's where we're going to end the session for this week.
Yay! How much
Yes,
is
Barry.
You'll get 4,000 XP.
You're not sorry, Dan.
Congratulations on your 4,000 XP. And we will do
Yay,
this
XPs.
same time next week, as I can say that now.
Yeah, you can finally say that.
Right. Can the party pull themselves together? Is this the parting of ways? Find out next time